Hi, y'all. Welcome, casters and comedians, to episode 23 of Dion Rising. This right here is a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition actual play campaign brought to you by the Knights of D20. Hello, babes. As usual, before we begin hiding and doing other unsavory things in the stacks, we have a few announcements brought to you by a friend of mine who declined an invitation to the royal wedding because it wasn't classy enough. Bobby, please give us the old rigmarole of announcements regarding the Knights of D20.
Of course. So first up, as always, is Mod Pod. Unfortunately, we are not going to have one tomorrow. We will be back with you next week. Me and Royal are going to be talking about monks, and he's going to teach me why Zada is so busted all the time. And then maybe you can realize why monks might just be the superior class of 2024. Tea time on Wednesday, we're going to have Melanie and Robin sitting down together. I'm sure they're going to get into all kinds of crazy nonsense because it's the two of them. And when it comes to casting friendship, Kara and Melanie, also known as Caramel, will be finishing season 1 of casting friendship as they sit down and talk about trauma bonding and friendship at the table. Another little fun tidbit for you. Hold on, I didn't put this in my notes, so I gotta check. Yes, next week we will not be here live for you. However, we will be airing a very special episode for you where we have filmed a one-shot. This is going to be run by Royal. We're all playing brand new characters throughout the week. We're going to be sending out some nice little teases as to who those characters are and what they like to do. And we're just going to be throwing that out next Monday on the 3rd for you here on the Twitch. And it goes, I think it's going to follow the same Wednesday release for YouTube. Is that correct, Dane?
Yep.
Excellent. I got it right without having it written down. That's the first time for everything. But with that, that's pretty much all I have for you. Just be on the lookout for our one shot, and we're going to send it back to our dungeon mother so we can get into this heist of knowledge.
We love stealing things and then knowing them. Okay. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you all again for joining us as we embark on an epic adventure in the world of Dion, where heroes rise, dangers abound, and legends are born. Players, dice at the ready. The stickers! I get mine over here too. In episode 22, our gang of misfits spent some more time in Ozaled, plotting their covert infiltration of the Athenaeum's well-guarded Hall of Echoes, in which they hope to find information about the artifacts that Emperor Orin may be searching for. They spent a day and a night staking out the area, learning the defenses and the guard rotation, getting some insider info from Seraphina's school friend Mira. And we return tonight, right where we left off, with Seraphina hiding in a bookshelf in the public area of the Athenaeum after closing time, and Killian stepping outside after being politely escorted from the premises at closing time by one of the living index orbs. Outside the Athenaeum, Killian, Marway, Bula, Eidos, and Kittenberry, you all kind of linger about, and you see 3 monks eventually escort a couple of the last archivists closing up the library. One of the monks pulls out a key, like a little brass key, and locks the door behind her and sort of takes up post, leaning on the wall next to the door. And the 2 other monks kind of take off along the footpath in either direction as the archivists make their way across the bridge and into the city to end their workday. Melanie, you're inside the Athenaeum, hiding inside a bookshelf. You are trying to remain calm, amazed at how quickly your very simple idea of just hiding at closing time went totally sideways as the magical noise amplification turned on, effectively trapping you where you sit. Zada, you've wandered off with the High Archivist, presumably to get a quick dinner and discuss a cultural exchange program you suggested after nearly getting caught multiple times trying to steal her key to the innermost room of the Hall of Echoes. We will come back to you in a moment. Let's start with the gang standing outside the library. What would you all like to discuss as your kind of final plan for getting into the Hall of Echoes tonight?
As soon as Ado sees that person lock the door, he'll just say, damn, I didn't think about the front door. Of course they would lock it. We didn't even have a plan for that.
Well, I have the tools to possibly get in there.
Well, hopefully they're not guarded by magic.
Well, that's true. But when I was being escorted out, there were a whole lot of those living indexes that were flooding the whole area. I'm surprised. Has anyone seen Serafina?
I thought she was with you.
She was, but then she went off. I just assumed she'd be escorted out.
She didn't come out this way.
Oh, great. Well, we don't have any way to contact her, do we?
That's
No.
not necessarily true.
You have a way, Marley?
If we can get about 120 feet away from her, I could probably message her.
Okay.
How are you gonna get close to her if you don't even know where she's at?
I'll just be like, Serafina, 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 until we hit the wing or something. Eventually we'll hear her.
I knew we should have picked up some
Maybe
sending stones
she
or
can
something.
walk over to the front door and like just unlock it for me inside.
Be great if she could do that, but we have to ask her to, or just hope that she does it on her own free will. God, if she was only here now.
And let me tell you, when I was walking out, the amplification of every step was like just piercing my ears. It's very loud if you try to walk around in there.
So if she tries to move anywhere, she's going to be caught. Marway was supposed to cast that spell on us.
And I should have mentioned this last time. You guys outside would have also heard the noises, like almost like they were being loudspeakered out of the building too. As the closing time was happening, everything happening inside is amplified outside of the building as well. So you guys would have heard Killian be like, "Oh, okay, I'm leaving now. Goodbye," as he's like walking out of the room.
Well, we need to get in regardless. That's the plan. This is probably the only night we'll be able to, so we'll have to go in and Marway will divining rod his way to find Serafina in there.
So we would just approach one of the doors once it's clear and try to lockpick it, hope it's not magically locked, and then go find Serafina somewhere.
I think it's a good as plan as any. We need to have Marway nearby so he can cast his magic on us, so we won't be heard. But we don't know what the other doors look like. Maybe they're less guarded. And Kara, you said that there's a guard posted there too?
There is at this one door. There's one guard posted at this door, and two of them took off going opposite directions to walk around the building. And Mira would have told you that usually all three of the entrances are guarded. This one's the main, like, front entrance. It has a big courtyard out front. I think one of you staked out the other entrances to see which one has, like, the best escape route. I believe that was the southwest corner, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, that where the city, like, buildings really butt up close to, like, across the street, as opposed to, you know, across a courtyard or a park. So you haven't gone and checked those entrances yet. And they're far enough away that, like, there's pretty good visibility, but not great visibility to either entrance.
Maybe it might be best if we check out one of the other entrances first, just to see that it's kind of out in the open over here. Anyone can spot us. Maybe we
Let's
try
do that.
the southwest side. That's where I saw there was a good amount of cover from various buildings in the neighborhood, so might be the best place to start from.
That sounds reasonable to me.
All right, let's go quietly.
You are all pantomiming being sneaky to get to one of the other entrances. So are you just gonna walk around to that, like, southwest entrance, the one you had staked out before as your good exit point?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you take off, and you're only a short distance behind the monk that took off. But being a monk, even though they're walking, they're quite fast. This little halfling woman is moving faster than her little legs should really physically be able to do, while at a leisurely, quote unquote, pace. So she's outpaced you, and she's like coming up to that entrance just shortly before you do, and you see her disappear around the corner. And you're just kind of casually walking as if you're just making your way around the city. And you do approach this other entrance. Again, this is where a lot more residential buildings kind of butt up to this part of the city and this block. So you do come across some more people, just like, it's a nice night. People are kind of lounging on little patios as you walk by. But you do come to this sort of corner intersection. And you see there is another monk. Looks like a genasi, like an earth genasi, standing there at this door. Just casually leaning, kind of keeping an eye open. But by all accounts, like, young. Just kind of hanging out, watching the door. And you can see as you, like, approach this corner of this, like, triangle-shaped building, the monk has, like, you know, started making their way further along that next wall. The one that's patrolling.
Well, how do we want to approach this? We don't have Seraphina here to seduce her way into the library.
Suppose I could give it a shot? Or maybe Zada, you can go talk to them.
Zada's not
Zada's
here.
not with you.
Zada's not with
Zada's
us.
at dinner.
Oh yeah, you're on your date. Damn it. Bula?
I mean, I can always knock somebody out for a minute.
No.
I mean, would you like me to go talk to them and distract them a little bit?
just see
And
what they're
then you
like.
can come up behind them and boop.
Well, maybe we could get Kittenberry here. She's
I was just about to suggest the same thing. I could walk up and just maybe have a little conversation with him. Do a little flirting. I am a pretty good liar, actually.
and Kittenberry.
And then I could stay and keep an eye out here to make sure nothing happens. Shoot my tiny cannon if you need anything.
Yes, I was just about to say you're gonna stay on the outside here and give us that warning shot if anything were to happen.
Your ears twitch kind of excitedly to have like a role that isn't too dangerous, but is important. She says, yes. So perhaps I go and I speak to this genasi. Do you want me to do any kind of, I don't know, major trickery? I don't really have the spells like Serafina or Eidos, but I could maybe do something to try and convince him to walk away. What should I say?
What do monks like?
They like natural fibers in their clothing. They like wearing ropes as belts. Very fashionable.
It's a cute look.
It is
That's-
a cute look, I agree.
It's adorable, but I'm not so sure that more like a cute roped robe party is gonna draw him away from his post.
Why don't you go over there and maybe just chat with him, become his friend, and then see if he wants to go on a little walk with you?
Okay, I will do my best, I suppose, as everybody is okay with that. Where is Zata? Should we... I saw him walk away with that old lady. Should we... Should I tell him anything when he gets back? Is he coming back? Anybody know what's going on, sir?
I don't know.
You didn't say anything.
Yeah, I don't know either, but the longer we leave Serafina alone in there, the higher risk she's gonna get caught, probably.
I feel like at that moment you hear like a tiny little like kind of echo out of the building.
Because we know that teleportation in there isn't going to work, I don't know if I can summon in there. So I want to go ahead and get Huthamer and Eden summoned. And we've got the thunderstorm already going, so whenever he comes in and his big crash of lightning, it shouldn't seem super weird. Hopefully. We'll see.
Okay.
And they can both float, so they shouldn't trigger anything stepping wise. We'll see.
She says, okay, so I will go and distract him. I will try and get him to turn away from the door, perhaps walk away a little bit if I can. You guys must be fast. You must pick that lock if the door is locked like the front was. And then, do you want to exit through this door too? Should I stay around here and try and hide somewhere and watch for your
Yeah.
exit?
I think this is our best exit route with all the buildings nearby.
Okay. So I will need to distract a guard again. Somehow it will be a different guard, so you must stay in long enough for the guard to change, I think. That way it's not the same guard seeing me again. That would be a bit suspicious. So how about you come up with some sort of signal for me to know when I need to distract the guard?
Are we roughly 120 feet away from the door right now?
Well, where are you standing? Are you like across the street, kind of next to the residences?
Yeah.
Are you? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's just like a kind of thin cobble road. It's a busy city street. So I'd say yeah, you're about like 90 feet away from the door.
Well, if you just stay in this area, I could probably just message you from the inside.
Okay. So I will stand, and she like finds like a little like garden with like a little one of those little like wrought iron decorative chairs, and she's like, I will hide myself in the shadow of this garden, sitting in this chair like a pretty little lawn ornament, as my mama always said I would be. I'm just not realizing that was a mean thing for her to say. Anyway, that's where I will be.
Aw.
Yes. So you point there, and I will be there waiting. And yeah, I will distract him again as best I can. Can I respond to
give
you?
me guidance. Yes, you can.
Okay, that way I can tell you if the coast is clear.
And
Please
Karis,
guide me.
is the I guess path there, because you said it's like over a moat, right? Like, so it's like kind of like a little bridge kind of thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. And the over on the main entrance side, it's like a river proper. But over here, it's like more of a thin canal, so it's not that wide. And there's a small little bridge, leading to it.
Can I ask how wide it is?
Like how wide or how far across?
Yeah. If one were to jump,
How wide
how
it was.
far
Oh,
would one
gotcha.
need to jump? There you
Oh,
go. That's a good way to explain it.
I mean, picture distance in my head. I'm really bad at this. I have that thing where you can't picture maps in your head. Probably like 11 feet, 12 feet, give or take. Not super wide.
So for Seraphina's benefit, I can teleport this over.
Okay. So are you ready? Anything else we need to think about? You get out your little lock-picking toolkit or whatever you are going to do, and I'm going to go. You hide here until I have him out of the way, I think. Okay, so you see her, she like does the cat thing where she like grooms herself for a second, like gets her fur really straight, like straightens her big hat of disguise, which tonight she's just disguised as a gray cat. Like she just keeps like changing the color of her fur every day, not really doing much more than that. So she's just got this like cute gray fur with little white stripes, and straightens herself up, dusts herself off, kind of pulls her sleeves down under her shoulders a little bit, pulls her purse up, and kind of like flits across as if she's like sightseeing across the bridge, and la-di-das. And she just kind of like stands like within the guard's like eye line and just like admires the building, and like gets out a little notebook, right, draws some of the runes as if she's like a sketch artist, like she's like, oh yes, pretending to really admire the architecture. And then she like looks down and sorry, go ahead.
As he looks at her, I would like to cast Druidcraft just to give like a light little breeze to kind of flutter her fur in the wind.
Scarf in her fur, yes. And just as that moment, like she so knows how to play it. She like pretends to notice him and startles a little. Like you guys can't hear her, but you see her and her like body language. And she goes over and she's like talking to him. She's talking with her hands. She's like doing the thing where you do this to make people nod with you. And let me roll for her performance, I think, which is a +5. Yeah, that's a 21, a dirty 21. You said you give her guidance, right? Too. Is there anything to add to that?
That's a D4.
Plus a D4. Let's see, just to see. That was a 2. Okay, so we're sitting at a 23. Yeah, she's glowing. This is like what she was made for, this flirting. And she kind of like, she grabs his arm and he's like flirting back. He like seems like he's like already, he was expecting kind of a dull night, a boring night of standing guard. He doesn't usually have to do this part of the job. So he's like happy to just have someone to talk to. He doesn't really find her threatening in any way. And she just kind of like turns him and walks with him, and she like points to parts of the building, and you can see he's like explaining things to her, and she's nodding along as if she has like no clue, but is so happy to hear him and listen to him talk. And she's like walking him like slowly along the wall, just kind of inching him slowly away from the door until they are like 15 feet away from the door, backs to the door, and they're both like admiring these like stained glass windows on the 3rd floor, and she's like regaling him with some story. And the door is clear for a moment as they are both facing away and flirting.
It's like, all right, time to go.
I'm gonna move my guidance over to Killian because I know he's about to be doing some sneaky stuff.
Okay, so are you going up to the door alone, just you?
I would assume maybe
we
everyone
should
else might
probably
come
all
with.
Yeah, because we all got to get in there.
Okay.
So you're gonna do a group stealth roll. So everybody go ahead and roll for stealth. Just a check.
Please, 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 please. Ooh!
I'm gonna
First
apologize
one.
before I even roll.
11.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I
Killian,
have
11.
for Maraway, I have a dirty 20. For Huthamer, I have a 15, and for Eden, it's going to be a 17.
6.
Thanks.
I know.
20, all natural.
Ooh,
Okay.
maybe he's born with it.
Okay, so Bula, as you're like, I just think you like can't help but stomp and all the food in your purse of holding. It's like you've got like jars in there rattling around and canned goods, like shopping bags. But every time that happens, like luckily with Ados' natural 20, he like takes your bag from you and like kind of helps you across. Killian, you're 11. Like at one point, you like trip a little out of nervousness. And Huthamer and Eden like scoop you up real fast and keep you moving quietly. And you all approach the door and you're keeping an eye on the guard. And luckily with Chiffon's roll, like every time he starts to kind of turn back around, she just like repositions herself to like catch his eye again and like asks him a question. So she's putting in overtime, keeping his attention. And you see her like out of the corner of her eye notice that you've all approached the door. How are you going to try and get in?
Yeah, so Keelan will just kind of, I want to take a look at the door quickly before I do anything. Yeah, I just want to see, is it just kind of look like a regular old keyhole?
Yes.
All right. Keelan will break out the thieves' tools, the lockpicks and such that he has, and he's going to try and open it.
Okay, go ahead and roll a sleight of hand.
All right.
You're guided as well.
Yep. Perfect. Ooh, that's good. That is
Ooh,
23.
that's what we like to hear.
23. Okay, yeah. This is a like as soon as you get the thieves' tools in, you know this is like exactly the kind of lock you've always practiced on. It is just a plain brass like 6-pin lock. So you are necking in all those pins, and eventually you get the nice smooth turn of the locking mechanism. The deadbolt goes, and the door swings out for you.
Before we head
As
in,
soon as the door opens, Maraway is gonna start his little prayer. He's going to say, "Magic of sanctuary, keep our footsteps hidden from unfriendly ears." And it's just gonna be a big cloud of kind of purple and dark magic surrounding the group with Pass Without Trace.
Okay. Okay. So you all hurry inside. You just kind of barely keep the door cracked, and you're all tiptoeing as well as you can. We'll keep that stealth roll for a moment, knowing that we're basically going to add 10 to each of those rolls that you just did. So you guys are inside the library. That door closes, and you stay close enough to the door that the Pass Without a Trace kind of covers up just the click of the door closing, and you've made it inside. The Athenaeum inside is dark. It's just like lit by sort of these like red glowing it's like the skylight sort of system that they have, just sort of covers, becomes opaque. So it's just this dark red sort of like dim lighting. The sun's not quite down, so you've still got a little bit of the benefit of daylight in the windows. Seraphina, you are still hiding upstairs and you have no idea what's going on. Okay.
The path
Yeah.
without a trace, does that just cover our footsteps or like
All
if
stealth
we-
rolls as long as you're within 30 feet of me.
okay.
If we
So like
talk,
if we talk, I guess
Yeah,
is my
you're
question.
gonna hear it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So it'll if you can try and speak stealthily, but that's gonna be kind of part of the role. So
I mean, I'll just message everyone that if you have something to say, just kind of give me a poke, and then I can start relaying messages.
I think you
Perfect.
still have to talk for.
No, you don't.
nope, yeah, it's all in your head. You have I think you have to like point. You have to like
You have to
physically
mouth
point.
it. You have to
Yeah.
mouth it, but the
Yeah.
sound appears only in someone's mind. To which I will now start. Serafina, 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 Serafina. I don't
So-
know if I'm going to find her.
I like to picture everybody like Bobby's at the front and you're all like tiptoeing like Nosferatu. Like, just quietly around the library and Marway's just kind of doing this and mouthing Serafina's name. Serafina, I believe we said you were hiding on like the second floor because you had like eye line of Killian where he was sitting, didn't you?
Yeah, I was on the same floor as Killian.
Yeah, okay. So it takes you guys maybe like 8 minutes of like very quiet tiptoeing around searching when Serafina inside your mind you hear just Marway going Serafina, 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 Serafina.
Yeah.
This is, like, this is you.
Yeah, as I'm like panicking because I thought I was very clever to stay inside to try to scope things out, but then I'm like completely claustrophobic and panicking, trying to like keep Glitterbell quiet, and I feel very relieved as soon as I hear Marway's voice in my head and my eyes open up very wide like saucers. And I almost want to yell out to Marway because I've never experienced this before. So I'll be like, Marway. I'll mouth it.
Okay. Yeah. Marway, you managed to get that you get that message back. You hear your name back in Serafina's voice. Very excited voice.
Serafina, where are you?
I'm on the second floor.
Why?
I thought I was scoping things out and doing you guys a favor, but it didn't work out.
Okay, we're going to come get you now. And then I'm going to like message individually everyone, just like, hey, Serafina's on the second floor for some reason. Let's go get her, I guess.
And Kaylin will just kind of like gesture for everyone to follow him because he knows where to go.
Perfect. Okay. I'm dying. Yeah, you guys you head up the stairs very carefully. Everybody go ahead and do one more stealth roll, but add that plus 10 from Pass Without a Trace. Serafina, I'll have you go ahead and roll as well.
Okay. What is it? Stealth roll?
Yeah, do a stealth roll and then add 10. Well, you're not under Pass. Well,
Wow.
do it anyway.
The lowest of my trio was a 25.
Nice.
What's a 14 for Bula?
plus 10.
Pretty good.
Yeah, that's with the plus 10.
Wolf girl.
Honey.
Killian.
I have 2 plus 6 plus 10, 18.
Cool. Ados.
Dirty 30.
Dirty 30.
Ooh.
Great.
Wow.
Um,
My
I'm good at
gosh.
sneaking.
I think we're going to use one of Eden's bursts of ingenuity to bump up Robin's 14 to a 16.
It does help.
I can't imagine why.
Now is a good
Keep
time
that
to
average higher.
Yeah. Yeah, those are flying colors at this point. Especially with bumping Bula up by a couple points, getting her over 15. Okay, so you guys are moving like a well-oiled machine, sneaking up the stairs, sneaking through the stacks. You find like that if you stay closer to the bookshelves, it actually kind of muffles your sound even more, just the paper and the leather. And Serafina, you see like this purple, hazy sort of cloud approach. And sort of it envelops the shelf that you're in and around you. So you are now under Pass Without a Trace as well.
Do not panic, it's just us.
Thank you for saving me. So I'm gonna like nudge Glitterbell and like sneak in a little bit.
Okay.
I like pass through my weird nook that I'm hiding behind.
Yep. Push the books out of the way and climb out.
Yeah.
You're so dusty. We're back there like with the cobwebs and the dust bunnies.
Prestidigitation.
Okay, so at this point, you guys are now upstairs from where, or across from where Killian was sitting, which was sort of just outside of the door to the Hall of Echoes. That door, what you heard from Mira, is covered by some sort of like glyph key, where you have to select the correct glyph. I keep wanting to say gif. And the gif kind of changes sometimes. But I believe, Killian, you managed to stake it out long enough that you were able to see what that glyph was that they pressed the day before.
Yes, Killian will remember that it was the glyph that was in Celestial that meant service. That was the one we kind of spied that faded out last.
Yeah, agreed. Okay. Do you guys head to the door?
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry.
You go on over to it. Those stealth rolls are still standing. You can go ahead and try and press the glyph the way you saw them do.
Yeah, Killian will.
Killian, are you doing it?
Yeah, Killian will press the service one.
The whole group goes,
In message, of
I got-
course.
I go to one that's like, I'm like, no.
Okay, yeah, you press it. The glyph lights up. The door snicks open. It's this like large kind of stone door. And it swings like pretty soundlessly inward. And you are welcome to step inside.
Yeah, Killian will step in first.
Okay. Once you're in, you can tell, like, you could feel kind of the vibration magic that was happening out in the main part of the library, where every step was, even though you were being as silent as humanly possible and it wasn't amplifying that much, you could still, like, feel the magic vibrations happening. And Killian, as soon as you cross that threshold, you lose that sense of like body sound, like that feeling in your bones that you're being amplified. And you find as you step on like nice soft carpet that even though you can hear your footstep on the carpet, it is no longer this like crazy amplification effect happening in here.
I think we're safe, and I'll like say that in a small whisper, but I'll still say it out loud. I don't think the magic works in here. That loud magic.
And you guys outside, like even though your hearts kind of stop as soon as he starts talking, it does not amplify. You hear him normally, as if he was just standing exactly how far away he is from you, on the other side of the doorway.
Right. Head in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Guys, where's Zada?
I thought he was with you.
I thought he was with you. I was scoping things out for you. For the
Hey,
mission.
and you did a great job. But
We're here, aren't we?
yes, we are. I never said anything. Do you want to talk about this? We'll talk about it over some wine later. But I have no idea where Zada is. He just kind of wasn't here at some point.
The last I saw him, he was tootling away with an old lady.
Oh, was he?
What do you mean by that?
What is tootling?
Yeah, Bula.
You know, just like scampering off.
Oh, okay, scampering.
Mm.
Well, strange
I
time
want to
to.
toodle someone.
Well, hopefully it's not before a heist. We got work to do. Toodle later.
Is it going to be the cool guard? Have you written
Who's
the letter
Who's
yet?
the cool guard? Oh yeah.
Cool who? Oh, guard. Yeah. I don't even remember his last name.
I don't remember his first name.
It's cool.
It's
Guys,
cool.
We had something to do. Can we talk about this later?
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
You're right. You're right.
Yes.
the tootler in question, Zada, you're at this restaurant. It's like a small sort of seafood cafe kind of place. You're talking to this archivist. She has her bag is in her lap. She is on guard. She's got it like rolled up, snapped clothes, both hands on it. But you're having a nice conversation about cultural exchange and how to like work out a program where you're gonna, provide more text for their Athenaeum. Just kind of going back and forth with her. But she is on guard for sure at this moment. But you're getting close to the point where the conversation will start wrapping up soon.
Okay.
And then back at... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, if that's it, then I'll figure out a way to get it later.
So you guys in this main part, or this like outer area of the Hall of Echoes. It is... Lost my place. This sort of outer atrium. It's kind of just like this very basic like reception type room. Like there's a desk, and there are these two long shelves, all lined with square shelving kind of cubbies. Most of which are full of like the sort of small soccer ball sized orbs that you guys know are the living index orbs. They're all shelved at this point in this room. However, on like behind the desk, there are smaller, closed, like with iron doors closed over them, orbs. Very similar in appearance, but much smaller, like pocket-sized little balls. That are sort of closed and locked in these individual little cubby areas.
Those ones are an index jail.
They
They
must
look
have,
significantly
free.
tougher than the other ones.
they must have did something bad, Seraphina.
I feel like I'm hesitant to even wake any of those annoying little things up.
I don't know that we want to wake him up. Do you think we can find what we need without him?
I sure hope so.
We
Yeah.
could definitely try.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Let me try something. Killian will close his eyes and take a few deep breaths as he remembers what the living index showed him of what the essentially like the scrolls and stuff looked like. And as he remembers, really kind of gets that vivid image in his eye, he's going to cast Locate Object, and you guys will just see his one divine eye just like open up, and it kind of, for Killian, it just kind of hopefully kind of directs him to wherever he needs to go. But you guys wouldn't see. You guys just see him just has his one funky eye open.
Yar.
We just look over there and he's sitting there going just around the room like, oh.
I'm walking head first as I do it.
You got something in your eye, or like you
Much
all
like
right?
Bula following the scent of pie, his feet lift off the ground and he follows his eye.
Following the scent of
Maraway
knowledge.
immediately starts looking like this as well. Because that's obviously what we're supposed to be doing.
Like one of those 3D puzzles. You gotta.
Suddenly
Okay,
Bula's thinking about pie.
Killian, your eye directs you further down the hallway into like the actual like library room. You can sort of feel your eye kind of pinging to a couple different scrolls that have that description within that room further down. There are some loose papers on the desk. One of them is under like a crystal paperweight. Yeah, otherwise this is just kind of the entry room in the library. You can see in the next room there's just an open sort of archway into the library part of this area.
Yeah, Killian will direct maybe like Bula and Eidos to grab some of the ones that have, been lit up basically by the locate object spell, and like Killian will grab some of them. Yeah.
Okay, cool. You are scooping up copies of Utopia of the Gods. You all start people are grabbing them for you. You sit down at the desk. There's a note on the desk when you sit down. It's like handwritten. It's one of the very few things left out on this sort of desk. You go to move it off to the side, but you read it because it's just sitting there face up. So as you like scooch it out of your way for the scrolls, it reads, Skykeeper, a study on Idrelis Dragon Lord, all in quotes as if it's like the title, has been taken by Archivist Emir to Luminara for updating due to the disappearance of the unidentified dragon egg. Please note in the catalog the scrolls are to be returned here no later than Heve 10th, 1697.
Useless.
Ada Sword, grab that note.
He does
What is
grab the
this
note.
garbage? Yeah.
Okay.
Before it floats to the ground.
Yeah, it's a handwritten note. It was kind of next to sort of like their essentially like a ledger, a catalog of what's in this part of the library. As if, you know, it was just quickly written that someone grabbed it and went. Okay. Killian, you sit down with some of the scrolls that comprise the set of scrolls called Utopia of the Gods. This is a text that's been fully authored by paladins, clerics, Asimar. They regard sort of the Utopia Celestial, which is the actual celestial realm, like the plane of existence. These scrolls are actually some of the shortest in the room. They only offer like secondhand accounts from those most connected to celestial creators throughout history. And you start to notice. Actually, go ahead and roll for me an investigation check, Killian, as you start going through these. Or if anybody's helping, you're welcome to give them the help action.
Nobody? Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Lula will help you by holding a stack of books, but that's about all you're going to get out of her.
All right. Well, with the help, that's a 19.
That's pretty good. You and Bula both notice, you know, you're looking in deep, like you're getting into the reading right away, but Bula's just like, hey man, these are numbered. And they are. They're all numbered, and you notice they're numbered in such a way that it's like handwritten on by the same person, like scroll 1 of 7, scroll 2 of 7, that kind of thing. And you realize that the last 5 scrolls are not accounted for here in this room that your eye would have pinged.
Is it a real cliffhanger? The end of scroll
It sure
5?
is. It kind of is. You notice, yeah, with that good roll on investigation, you notice that they stop right when they really start talking about the Dionic War, which you're like, hey, this is a war of the gods. It should be like very, very relevant here. So yeah, it is a pretty big cliffhanger. Yeah.
Well, Killian will just be like lifting through the scrolls. Like, that's it? Where the hell are the other 2?
5 are missing.
5.
Where the hell are the other 5? That's even more than 2.
Is it?
You realize the author hasn't finished writing them, and it's been 15 years, and Winds of Winter has to come sometime.
Or does it?
Or does it? Yeah. Is anybody else, like, perusing some of the scrolls in this part of the library? Or doing any investigating and exploring?
Eidos is definitely looking for information on Orin's disappearance.
Okay. You don't find like it's a kind of a hodgepodge in here. There's an obvious like clerical system for organizing these scrolls, but it really is just like thousands of little cubbies holding individual scrolls with like certain numbers or glyphs, some kind of numbering system. You can try and make rhyme or reason of, but without like you've been using the living indexes this whole time just to navigate the normal part of the library. Nonetheless, this like much more crazy indexed version of the library. So you're welcome to go and try and use a living index. Otherwise, you can roll like an investigation with disadvantage as you're trying to find things specifically about Orin, as you're really just pulling and reading blindly.
Damn. Is there like I forget what it's called, but the little cards that use the Dewey Decimal System?
That would be the living index. That's it.
Those things are gonna... Look, we're never gonna find everything we need in this, but I'm afraid to turn on one of these living indexes. Didn't they kicked you out, Killian? They're obviously going to tell on us if we use them. Right?
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
quite vocal about it.
They're just going to tell me not to get smears on the books and to get my feet off the chairs. I'm tired of listening to them.
That too, yeah. All right, well, Ados will kind of, in a panic, start looking through these scrolls just to see if you can make some sort of rhyme or reason to the system that they have.
Okay.
At disadvantage, you said?
Mhm.
Okay, cool. 2?
Okay. You mostly open scrolls in languages that you don't know.
Okay.
You're like, are none of these in common or any of the languages I speak? Like, you're getting really frustrated. Melanie, for Seraphina, please roll a let's do a history or just a straight wisdom roll, maybe. You're kind of gonna access your own memories of the library here.
To do a straight wisdom roll, do I just hover over? I'll do history.
Okay.
12?
You could probably do insight as well if you wanted to.
Oh, I feel like 12 is the best I'm gonna get. And should I
enough.
roll again? Or
And no, that's okay. We'll stick with
okay,
this.
yeah, I got a 12, yeah.
You are just sort of like you're listening to them sort of argue about that they don't want to restart the living indexes.
Yeah.
But you realize you guys have only dealt with the big ones out in the main, and you're like you're stuck on the index jail. Like you're like,
Yeah.
why would these ones be in index jail?
Must be naughty.
And you're just kind of staring at them, and you realize like they must be here for a purpose, and we haven't seen that purpose yet. And they're in index jail, so they're naughty, and they're like not accessible to the general public. These are all things you're kind of putting together in your head as you stand there and just like ponder why they're naughty, and if you're naughty in the same way.
I'm gonna move forward towards the index jail to see what kind of contraption they're in. Like, do they have like a padlock, or how are they locked in there?
They are just locked, yeah, with like little small padlocks. Like it's a little iron barred door with a little small padlock on each one, like a little.
Oh, okay. All right, I'm gonna ask Killian. Killian, why don't you try to set this one free? Right here.
But you sure? Like, they're pretty loud.
No, I'm not sure.
You were inside. You heard them all yelling, didn't you? When we were...
But they're not yelling in here.
Maybe it's because they're behind this gate. Sorry, you know what? I don't have time to argue with this. I'll help you out.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, you open the...
We got stuff to do. Let's open this.
Okay, Killian, roll a sleight of hand.
That's gonna be 18.
Okay, pretty good. Yeah, it's a smaller lock, but you're happy to see it's not like a magical lock. It's not anything wildly outrageous. Just a little brass key lock. So you manage to click, click, click. Little padlock pops open, and you swing open the gate. And living index just sits there. It doesn't light up. It doesn't freak out. Just kind of waits.
All yours,
right.
Seraphina. I gotta
Thank
go
you,
find
you're
those other
dismissed.
scrolls. I gotta find those other scrolls.
Okay, so Seraphina is going to index. She's gonna like poke the index.
It lights up this like very pleasing, like soft, sunny yellow. And just sort of floats up just an inch off its little like pad that it was sitting on inside and floats out and hovers in front of your face. And it says, "Hello, I am the living index of the Hall of Echoes. It is nice to meet you." And it waits for a second, and then it says, "Lady Seraphina Blackthorn, welcome to the Hall of Echoes."
Seraphina will turn to everyone else. Do you guys hear that?
Do we hear it?
No, you don't.
Okay.
No, I don't hear anything.
I'm trying to read.
I think these indexes work. I think it's fine to use them.
The index in your head again says, "It is fine to use me within the Hall of Echoes. I am quite useful in finding anything stored within these halls. What is it you are looking for today?
Ooh, Surfy's gonna ask it about warlock stuff.
It says,
Well, we're on a time limit here.
it says, we currently have 482 scrolls referencing warlocks in the Hall of Echoes. Please, what is a more specific query?
Ooh, tell me all the juicy stuff. What's the good stuff?
Can I
The
get
first warlock was born in. And it tells you the juicy stuff. It tells you like who cheated on who, which devils like came up with the best contracts for their warlock patrons. Like it is giving you all the tea.
Oh my god.
And it's
Now we
also
need-
referencing scrolls in different sections of the Hall of Echoes that you could refer to for more information on warlocks.
I am thoroughly entertained.
Ask it for the 1562 Fantasy Guinness World Book of Records.
Okay.
It-
Um,
You hear the humanoid born with the most number of limbs in the year 1562 was Quandary Relatu in the kingdom of Erendriel. He was born with 8 legs and 3 arms.
That's actually pretty neat.
Good for
There's some
him.
freaks around.
Should we probably get going before my sneaky spirit ends?
The orb floats over to Marroway once he says that, and it says, what do you need to find in the Hall of Echoes today? Marroway.
I do not really know. I don't really know a whole lot about books yet. But I do know that Killian over here is definitely looking for something.
It floats over to Killian. Just a little soft ball of light. Hello. Killian Sadriv of Cordia. Please, may I help you find anything in the Hall of Echoes today?
Yes, I am looking for the remaining scrolls for the Utopia of the Gods series here.
The remaining 5 scrolls of the Utopia of the Gods are kept within the inner sanctum of the Hall of Echoes, past the door at the end of this room. And you do notice, there's 2 large iron and wood doors standing at the end of this library on the first floor. This is like a 2-story room, which is like a balcony that runs around the second story of shelving. She says, you may gain access with the key from the High Archivist, or you may speak to the Guardian.
Guardian. Okay. Well, before I get to that, are there any books or scrolls referencing artifacts of the unwelcome gods?
You are already looking for Utopia of the Gods.
Oh, okay.
It has a complete list of the known artifacts made by the gods themselves, both invited and uninvited.
Okay, perfect.
We have many other tomes, including Visitors from the Astral Sea, Stonehall, Urbehilda's Delve, Reflections on the Shadowfell, Sanctuary for Those in Need, a study of the Queendom of Archfey, Concerning the Abyss, The Elements That Built a World, and many other tomes in this section refer to different planes of existence. May I help you find one of these?
Those last 3 ones that you said, can you point them in our direction? The way we should go for those?
Sanctuary for Those in Need, a study of the Queendom of Archfey. These little lights leave it. These little sort of particle lights that you've seen go and retrieve books before outside, goes and retrieves a set of scrolls and brings them down and kind of drops them on the desk in front of you and Bula. And then she says, concerning the Abyss. Again, these little lights fly up and collect a couple more scrolls and come and drop them down in front of you. The Elements That Built a World. Go and fly away, grab those scrolls, comes back. And you now have 3 distinct kind of piles of scrolls in front of you.
Okay.
Bula's gonna kind of lean over to Marroway and just say, "Hey, that one scroll, that sounds like some of the stuff you talk about."
Where is it?
And she points to the the one about was it Archfey and Sanctuary?
Yeah, Marway's gonna walk over to it and unroll it and see if it's something that he can read.
It is, like, you see, 2 of the scrolls are written in common, but they are a translation of the original Sylvan.
We're gonna read the Sylvan one.
Okay.
Um,
These... Sorry, go ahead, Gilly.
Oh, I was going to ask, Eidos, would you be able to look into this book here? I know Zada was talking about a lot about looking into elements and drawing elemental power. I'm sure if he had the opportunity to be here, he'd want to look into this. So maybe just see if write down some quick notes. You went to university, so you probably know how to do that kind of stuff.
I do indeed know how to do that kind of stuff, other people's homework. Sure, but can you ask this thing to please get some information on Orm's disappearance? I don't want it to know my name. It's recording everything, I'm sure.
Killing, you hear in your head, I am always in incognito mode, and if I leave the Hall of Echoes, I am no longer attached to the network of living indices. If you are worried about information, personal information, being recorded, you do not need to be. This is a confidential part of the Athenaeum.
You're good, Eidos. Don't worry about it. You can ask.
I believe you.
Had a good conversation. You didn't hear it, but incognito mode.
Incognito mode.
You're
okay. Completely trustworthy. I'm sure. And he'll go over the index as he's sitting down with Zada's book and ask it to get him some information on Orin's disappearance, if they have it.
It will tell you, information about Emperor Orin is largely tied to the Dionic Wars. You would need to gain access to the Inner Sanctum. I am sorry, I cannot help you in this part of the room. You may gain access by getting the key from the High Archivist or speaking to the Guardian.
He kind of waves it off and sits down in the book and looks for just anything that sounds like what Zada's been doing with his fire hands and ice paws and such.
Okay. And Killian, I'm guessing you sit down with Concerning the Abyss.
Yeah, for as quickly as I can sift through it.
Okay. So I'll go through sort of book by book here. Marway and Bula, you're going to sit down and read Sanctuary for Those in Need, a study of the Queendom of Archfey. It explains that the domain of Sanctuary was created by the Archfey Calendula. She sought to have a land where the weak, tired, sick, war-torn could find rest, healing, and possibly a home. Those who made their home in Sanctuary are all very bonded. And they sort of have this very familial society. It goes on to talk about how after over about 100 years of ruling her own domain as the queen, she installed a council of 5 members to aid in her goals of creating a perfect home. The queen grew a very deep longing after 300 years of kind of growing her domain. The tome writes that she longed for a child, and as you're reading, you're realizing this is really just a study on Calendula herself, more so than Sanctuary, which is quite a bit more of a mystery to this realm. It speaks about how Calendula's council sort of encouraged her to have a baby. They thought it would raise the spirits of those in her domain. And the very last sort of section of this book makes note of the birth of her child. And it's kind of a lovely story of a queen in a realm that seemed to be quite happy and at peace compared to where you're at now. Excuse me. Eidos, you're sitting down with the elements that built a world. Once again, these are scrolls that are numbered, but that don't seem to be complete. The whole set is not here with this set of scrolls. However, what you do read, they recount sort of the common knowledge of the original primordials of the elements, who allied with Dion, the goddess, to kind of create the 3 heart planets. They did a lot of the physical work of creating planets. Most of the scrolls are actually missing from this series. But these do tell you a bit about the primordials themselves. There's Bela, who's the primordial of fire, Thono, the primordial of air, Turbis, the primordial of earth, and Mirius, the primordial of water. But it would appear that the whole set is not here. Killian, you are reading Concerning the Abyss. It goes on and says, unlike the Seven Hells, the Abyss is recorded to be infinitely deep. It's got layers that both overlap and also never intersect. They are like a truly chaotic plane of existence. Most of what's known in these scrolls can be dated back to the Dionic Wars, and accounts and knowledge recording during the wars is believed to be some of the only verifiable information about the nature of the Abyss and the demons from that realm. The scrolls are made up of many disjointed, very tragic, sometimes unintelligible accounts of those who lived during the Dionic War, in like the far western lands, Cordia, for instance. All of the accounts from that area of the world tell of a curse that plagued the land of Cordia for centuries, originating in the ruined city Thorsevine. It sort of created an open gate between the Abyss and the planet Dion, much like you already know, allowing demons to enter this world freely during and after the Dionic Wars. The curse was eventually broken by the heroes of Cordon, as you know, which allowed the land to be settled. However, that gate allowed the introduction of demons to the world of Dion, and they were never truly eradicated from the land, and they've always kind of wanted a way back. Many mortals affected by this incursion sort of devolve into frantic writing that's listed out here, insisting that the demons will find a way to reopen that great gate and plague the land again, given enough time. One scroll is actually bloodied. It is an actual first-hand account as opposed to a rewriting or a retelling. It obsessively writes about the standing stones of Thorsevine, and it ends when the writer decides to attempt to destroy the stones. Zada, your dinner's probably about finished up. You're saying bye to the High Archivist. She has plans to meet up with you next week in her office on 10 a.m. on a Tuesday to talk more about learning about Leonin culture. Do you want to head back to the Athenaeum?
Yeah, so there's just no... I guess there's just no way to get to the purse again.
Yeah, she's guarding that thing. She's pretty... You've come to realize during this dinner, she's very sharp. She may be old, but she's quite insightful. You notice that she's always kind of got a scan going of the room. You know, she didn't get to her High Archivist for nothing. And you just don't see an opening into that purse where she's got that key.
Yeah.
Her head's on a swivel.
Her head is on a swivel.
Yeah, I guess I'll just make my way back over.
Okay. Yeah, you get to the outside of the Athenaeum. The front entrance, you notice, is guarded by a halfling monk. It's not been long enough for... You wouldn't know, but it's not been long enough for the guard to change yet, so it is still the same halfling that the rest of the group would have seen before. Do you, make your way around the outside of the building, kind of stake out the area?
Yeah, for all I know, people would still be around, so I'm just gonna look around for my friends.
Okay. Yeah, so you start walking, you kind of go up and down the block a little bit, you head down. You do end up sort of taking a meandering route past the entrance that they did go inside. In Barry, you hear from in some bushes, some rose bushes in Someone's backyard garden across the street. You hear Zata, come here, psst. Hissing. You see Kittenberry sitting there in the bushes with her big hat, just kind of hiding in the shadows. The sun's gone down now, but she waves you over. Zata, come here.
Yeah, what's going on?
Zata, okay. The party went inside. If you need me to, I can try to distract the guard again. I already did so once, but I can try one more time to see if I can get him out of the way of the door. If you have some way to get inside, I don't think the group would have locked it behind them, so it should still be unlocked. He has not relocked it himself or checked it. I don't think he is very bright. Cute though. No?
Cute, yeah, cute but dumb. Got it. No. I guess if they already went in, I'm pretty good with stealth, but I'm worried about the enchantment. I don't want to mess that up. So I guess I'll be on guard duty with you then. I'll take another spot, probably on the rooftop or something, and see if anything gets in trouble. I can be around.
Okay, good. Yes, if you hear me shoot my tiny cannon, you know that something is going down at this exit.
Right.
The
Burn
group
the
said
library down. Got it.
burns the library down. If I'm sure that's what everybody would want to happen. No, don't do that. Don't be silly. No, that will give us all caught and our friends killed. Please don't. No. What we will do is if you hear my cannon, you come to me, and we will figure out what to do next. But the party said whenever they are done with what they are doing, they are going to message me. So go where you can see me, and I will flag you when they are ready to exit, and you and I can help to distract the guard again so that they can make an escape. Yes?
Yeah, no problem. I'll go just get on a rooftop, not too far away. It's a lot better vantage point up top, and it's easier to get a distraction if you're pretty high up.
Okay, cool. You shimmy up a drain pipe. You're up there. You get a good vantage point of both that exit and Kittenberry. So you've got a good spot to kind of stake out. Okay, inside in the Hall of Echoes, yeah, you guys have kind of combed through these tomes. The Living Index has brought Seraphina some different Warlocks texts that you can go through. Are you trying to, Seraphina, are you trying to hide that you're reading Warlock tomes from your friends in this room right now?
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it stealthy.
Okay. You're just sitting in a corner by yourself. There's lots of little, this is a small library room, but there's lots of little reading nooks with couches and tables and chairs and things. So you just kind of find a quiet corner to sit in away from everybody.
Yeah, I'm just trying to peek in the corner. Yeah.
The bigger book in front of the smaller
Yeah.
book.
Yes. In front of the graphic novel that you're actually reading. Okay. Yeah, but it seems that as far as Utopia of the Gods go, which you know to be the one that has the information you need, it seems that you've got to get into that inner room somehow. And there's just this big double door. It's iron supported, but thick oak doors that stand from the floor to the balcony.
Ados will snap at the index to bring it over. Index.
You snap at it?
I snap at it. Yeah.
You're snapping at the naughty index?
Indexes are.
I like that.
I am not programmed to like things. I am just a construct. But if I was a living being, from what I understand from all the tomes I have read, they might not like that.
They might
I have
not.
no opinions.
Well, that's good. Let's keep it that way. He doesn't say it. It says, Index, what is the Guardian?
The Guardian is a celestial being who shields the door of the most sensitive and provocative works of literature within the Athenaeum. They are assigned to this posting by the goddess herself.
Thank you, Index. Does it have a name?
The Guardian's name is not known to this one.
Kind of relay that to the others. So, well, we don't have the key, and it is indeed a celestial guardian. But if we just have to talk to it, maybe it wouldn't be so bad. Maybe be friendly.
Yeah, Seraphina peeks out from under her books and is like, I want to see some provocative literature.
I don't think it's going to be that kind of provocative. Well, actually,
You don't know
I don't know that.
You don't know that.
I don't know that. Maybe we should take a look. You want to talk to the Guardian and see if he's down for us to go in there?
Well, the information that I need is seemingly behind that door there. So,
And the information Zada needs is in the same place.
As is mine.
And mine. I forgot me. So, frankly, this trip is wasted if we don't get behind that door.
mm-hmm. All right, let's see. This Guardian's nice. Question
Maybe
mark?
it's like tests of wisdom type deals and less swords.
Hopefully, it's not riddles or anything like that.
So
As
they
you're all
hope-
pondering what's about to happen as you approach the door, let's take a 10-minute break. It's about that time. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and run some ads during the break. Stick around. We'll be back at 9:30. So Make sure you come back to the computer in 10 minutes. Grab your snacks, grab your waters. See you in a minute. And we're back. Hey, y'all. Thank you for waiting through the ad break. Love you all. Love doing capitalism with you. No other group of people I'd rather deal with. Okay. So you guys have started approaching the door, leading to the innermost room of the Hall of Echoes. You've just come to roadblock after roadblock on your way to just get some pretty basic information that seems to be under lock and key. As you approach these large double doors, you find yourself sort of unwillingly projecting your intent to go into that room. You just notice you're like, oh, you feel watched almost. You feel seen suddenly. You haven't felt that way standing here before or working around this room before, but you feel seen. And it is, just as Bobby just sort of implied inadvertently, it's a nice feeling. It feels like a warm sort of scene. Like you're being witnessed. Maybe if you have a guilty conscience, you might feel a bit judged. But you come within sort of 5 feet before these double doors when this very bright sort of halo of light appears 7 feet off the ground. And beneath it sort of just materializes, sort of in this weird, slow, almost like a teleport spell or like a Misty Step spell. This very large, I hate to describe it as cute, but it's like a giant bear wearing this like beautiful white gold armor. It's etched and painted in like silvers and golds and whites. It's holding this like massive sort of javelin weapon with this big, like it's not even just a point, it's this big star it's a 3-dimensional star with all these different points going all these different ways. Almost looking like an actual star was pulled out of the sky for this weapon. And holding a pretty big shield. And all at once, who all approached the door? Did everybody approach the door? Is just a couple of you, or any of you still sitting back?
I'll
I think
approach
we all
the
kind of
door.
went over there, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all approach.
Okay. Everybody, go ahead and roll a wisdom save for me.
Hey, guess what, everybody?
Is this magical?
You're all in my aura.
You are all in Killian's aura.
So y'all get
I
a
don't know
plus.
what that means.
So you don't even know it, but
I thought I smelled something.
you're feeling
Yeah.
particularly resistant to stuff. So you get a +3 to your saving throws.
Is it
You
all
just
of it?
turned my 8 into an 18. Thank you. Thanks, modifiers and Killian.
You said plus how many?
+3 to your wisdom save.
15.
16.
In Killian's smelly aura, I have 18.
Smells like
it
flowers
smelly?
and sunshine.
Are you
okay?
sure? Yeah.
I think
Smells
that's
like
my
it.
aura.
Smells like community. Okay. I got a natural 1, so
Embarrassing.
for a total of 8.
Okay, everybody except Killian, you do feel this like aura of like warmth and goodness and kindness. Killian, you feel an aura of like menacing judgment. It makes you very nervous. I think that you being a paladin of a different god, being a little bit more in tuned to the gods and what's expected of you when you are sort of a champion of the gods of sorts, you feel a little bit more pressure about this than maybe everybody else standing here feels.
And
However, you manage to stand your ground. You don't run in fear of this creature. This large, large brown bear with these like glowing white eyes, pupilless, just glowing white eyes, as it takes in the 5 of you.
And Killian will actually, like, just feeling that nervousness, feeling like the gaze upon him. He'll kind of bend the knee, basically, almost in like a ceremonial, like kind of bowing position, just head down, not even like looking up towards this thing.
Yeah. Okay. It in this like booming, warm voice says, "Rise, paladin, and state your name."
Rather timidly, Killian will stand up and say, "My name is Killian Sodriv. I'm an Inquisitor of the Protectorate of Oasis."
The Protectorate of Oasis. You say an Inquisitor. Which of Oasis's tenets do you follow that led you here to this sanctum?
Well, what led all of us here is seeking knowledge to protect the world from an evil that once plagued this land. That evil goes by the name of Orin. And we've come to learn that he has been once again unleashed upon Dion, and we seek to stop him.
We know of this Orin you speak of, and you tell me he has been released. Orin has not been recorded in these tomes for some hundreds of years. What news do you bring that has not been brought previously?
Well, from our experiences, we've come to learn that that Orin was actually sealed away inside of a vault by the devil Solvak, and he's been sealed away for many centuries. We came into one of Orin's most loyal subjects until he was betrayed. He's known as Archangel now. And unknowingly, we were the ones that set Orin free. And we seek to right that wrong.
You see this massive bear kind of sweep its gaze to all of your faces, trying to surmise the truth of this. It like waves back at Marway. Trying to trying to figure out if it believes that you could possibly be the first people to tell it this, when this is like the greatest archive of knowledge kind of in the world. Everybody go ahead and roll perception, or not, sorry, charisma? No, let me think. My brain. The one that's not deception. Persuasion, thank you. Persuasion. It's like, I know words.
The opposite of deception.
Ina has
I'm
21.
not feeling very persuasive today.
17.
Okay. Killian?
No,
Killing at 13.
Sarah?
21.
Ooh.
Eidos?
19.
Ula.
8.
8. I like to think that Bula just like knows that when you see a bear, you kind of got to just turn and go the other way or play dead. And so you're not really.
We don't usually poke a bear.
Yeah.
It's just not a good idea.
But yeah, the rest of your rolls, pretty good. He takes in each of you and he says, And how would the path that led you here be the path that allows you to defeat this Orin and right the wrong you have caused yourselves?
Well, we seek information about some relics that once belonged to the Unwelcome Ones. We've already learned of a few of these relics, such as the Mace of Estar, the armor of Ere. What was the other one?
Crown of Banfion.
Crown of Bathion. But the last one eludes us. We don't know what it is or what we should be searching for.
Gillian, that was very honest. Go ahead and roll and one more persuasion with advantage. Just you.
All right, that is a 15. Right on the nose.
Add 2, just in case.
17. Lucky cat. Lucky cat.
Lucky cat. That's the last one we got, though, so...
Okay. Yeah, you see him once again kind of take in the group. He says, "You come with information more than most mortals know, if you know of the armaments. I have the remainder of that information within my sanctum. But I must ask you one more question.
Of course.
What will you choose if it comes between your life and the will of the gods?"
If it means saving Dion and its people, then I would gladly lay down my life. That is what the god wills it.
An answer that hinges upon the lives of the people of Dion is the only kind of answer a god would accept as true of heart and truly good. I will allow you entrance into this sanctum on the strictest of rule that you keep to this promise you have made today. For Lydal will know. For Lydal is all-knowing.
And Killian will once again kind of take a knee in front of this celestial figure and hold his hand up to his chest, and he'll say, I swear upon the oath that I made to Oasis that what I say is true, and you can hold me to my word.
He throws this sort of, he has these like bright white sort of drapery and cloaks pinned to him, and he throws back one of these and pulls out this, I mean, just lit up silver sword. And he says, I knight you by the name of Lydal, god of knowledge and understanding. I knight you and I alight you today to access this most sacred information with the trust of the gods. And he taps his sword on each of your shoulders, hitting your right twice. And you have a point of inspiration. Which I think might be the first, yes, all of you witnessing this. I think it might be the first inspiration I've given out this game. And you rise as he turns and with his great paws just opens the door like it was never locked in the first place. Yes, his great paws. I know, bears are cute. He stands aside and he says, I maintain my watch until you complete your request. And he just sort of posts up by the doors, which are open to you.
Seeing that the danger is not what they thought it would be, Maraway is going to go back to the room that they were in beforehand and sit down and just read and reread this scroll over and over and over.
It's a beautiful read. And
Killian will head down deeper into the sanctum.
okay. Immediately once you're through, your divine eye alights upon the remainder of the text that you were seeking with your residual locate object spell. As it hits upon 5 pings in the room, and you're able to use the living index to collect these and bring them down to your level. And you start reading. Yeah. Before I get into that, what do the rest of you search for in this room? It is clean in here. While the other room was full of sort of dusty, less maintained, like well maintained, but less well maintained. This room is like, it's almost like climate controlled. It's perfectly warm, almost like there's a fire, but there's no fire lit. There's no lighting source that you can see. It just is lit like it's a sunny day.
Nice. Confident that Killian's getting what we came here for. Ados will seek out the remaining portions of Zada's text.
Okay.
Find the information he needs.
Okay. Seraphina, the living index floats over to you, and in your head it says, the most provocative text in this part of the library is related to Urbe Hilda, the Lady of Stone, goddess of dwarves and mountains, and her many husbands she had throughout her time on Dion before ascending to godhood.
Oh. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and delve into that.
It brings you over a whole lot of scrolls. A lot of scrolls. She had many husbands during her time as a mortal before she ascended to godhood.
I need to take some notes.
Yeah, she was prolific. Okay, Ados, you grab the remainder of the elements that built a world, and you're taking notes for Zada. While the beginning of these scrolls were very surface level, these, you realize, reveal some, like, honestly, frankly, kind of horrible truths about the history of beings from the elemental plane. The 4 primordial sort of rulers of all the elements did indeed help Dion physically create the 3 heart planets. And they were, at the time, allowed to seek followers on the planets in order to help sort of maintain elemental balance. They had a position amongst the pantheon sort of as gods. However, during the Dionic War, the uninvited goddess Ere recognized that the power of those elementals was very strong, and she engaged in open hostilities toward them to sort of weaken them as Dion's allies. On Dion, this transpired as an all-out genocide of elemental magic users and mortal elemental beings. And though the war did eventually end, the few elemental survivors on Dion were very subjugated and never really recovered their original communities, nor their previously rich and ancient cultures. On the high planar level, Ere directly attacked the elemental plane with her armies. She nearly destroyed Bela, Sono, Turbis, and Mirius before they surrendered, and eventually they agreed to recall their alliance with Dion. It's noted that in recent history, Ares followers have claimed what they call the laws of the natural world as their own. Many who are given elemental powers that are gifted by the primordials in this living day and age actually believe that their powers are gifts from Ere, just due to centuries of misinformation from Ares' church. It would appear that the Bela, Sono, Turbis, and Mirius have been pretty well written out of the history and are quite weakened because of it. Sort of a lack of followers who directly know them to be the gift givers of the elements has not allowed them to regain the status that they once held in the world. It's a pretty depressing read, but you make note of all of this so that you can relay it to Zada, knowing that it's quite relevant to his life. Killian, you're sitting down with Utopia of the Gods. These scrolls reflect, as you're reading, a very detailed historical and analytical nature of the Dionic Wars. They offer both sort of a thorough recounting of the wars, as well as theories about the gods' sort of roles and motives. These 5 volumes are an account of the Dionic Wars themselves. You flip through, you note that although the language is like quite dry and descriptive to a fault, it delves mainly into the movement of armies and battles. On occasion, the authors include footnotes that postulate about when the gods directly intervened, usually as kind of a way to account for massive amounts of destruction and especially high death tolls. It seemed when the gods directly intervened, things went incredibly poorly for mortals, as one can imagine. You have so many scrolls here, it's going to take like 3 hours total to read through them. But you can sort of whittle that down if you all kind of divide and conquer, or come up with some good like strategies to like really peruse these, or do some really high investigation rolling. So I'll let you guys tell me how you want to kind of manage that as you peruse these for specifically the information you want about the items that you're looking for, because they are going to be within these 5 scrolls.
Does anyone can anyone help me out with this? There's a lot of information to go through here.
Yeah. Ados will close up his scroll and head over, help rifle through those texts.
Okay. I am sending you guys all just a Google Doc so that you have it, so that you don't feel like you have to take notes. In the Discord. But for now, I'm going to actually go through it, obviously. So go ahead, and anybody who's helping roll investigation, if there's more than one person helping, you can roll with advantage.
Alright, so, Ados, what are you doing? You want to roll with
I do it.
advantage?
Oh no, you can. It's your baby.
Alright. I shall do so.
You could also, Killian, if your religion is higher than your investigation, you could use what you know about religion to make that even faster.
Not?
Okay, then go ahead and just do investigation. That's cool. You're an inquisitor. You're just going to use your study skills.
Alright. Okay. So, with that, it'll be 18.
18. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, so you and Ados sort of divide and conquer. He helps you, like, as soon as you find something, you guys are just doing this very quick back and forth. Look at this year, look at this date, look at this location, like find this name. Like you're referencing off of each other and trading scrolls as you go. So yeah, you whittle it down. So while the rest of the party is just reading their own individual things, I should ask Bula, what are you doing? Anything in particular?
She's kind of going in between, so she's kind of keeping an eye on Marway, who's reading about Sanctuary in the other room, kind of watching this bear to make sure it doesn't all of a sudden get some kind of hungry, and kind of keeping her eye out if there's anything she can do lifting-wise, since reading is not her strong suit, for those that are farther in. just kind of general support.
Cool, okay. Yeah, so you guys whittle it down. It takes about half the time that it would have. You guys spend about an hour and a half sitting here devouring this set of scrolls. I'm going to go through some of the stuff that you find. The Armor of Ere. You already know about it. The legendary Armor of Ere was a radiant, gleaming suit of half-plate adorned with intricate golden engraving depicting victorious battles, symbols of vengeance. It's both regal and imposing. It exudes an aura of pride and justice. It was said to be worn by the champion of Ere during the Dionic Wars, which allowed them to fight with righteous fury and unparalleled prowess on the battlefield. The armor was said to have been retired and housed in an unknown temple of Ere for some time. Sort of an illustrated collection is in this scroll depicting various known Urag clan leaders. Yog, king of Urag, is shown in radiant golden armor, noted to be a gift from Urag's ally, Emperor Wyasthira Orenisthia. Emperor Oren. The Crown of Baphion. It's a dazzling golden circlet encrusted with precious gemstones of every kind. It radiates wealth and prestige. It is just like opulent, gaudy. Merely wearing it sort of conveys a sense of authority and command over material goods and wealth. Those who don the crown are said to command fortunes and wealth with a mere thought. The crown was worn by a Duragar warlord who used it to fund the armies of the Underdark that emerged to support the uninvited ones in the war. The Duragar are sort of like an Underdark race of dwarves. It was passed down the Duragar Lord's lineage, which eventually mixed with the dwarves of Tamunda. From there, it's sort of not known where it ended up. The figurine of Dea. It's a small, delicate figurine. It depicts Dea, the goddess, in an elegantly crafted form carved from rose quartz and accented with like gold filigree and gold leaf. It radiates warmth, beauty, a subtle, sort of intoxicating scent of flowers and spices just wafts off of it. And it's said that those who carry it are irresistibly alluring, and the pleasure of life seems to bend to their will. The figurine was a gift that was made by Dea, the goddess, for the Yuan-Ti pureblood courtesan witch, Sizitzi, who lived in the wilderness of Wawasite on the eastern continent, which is Zada's continent. Local accounts dated during her lifespan claim that she blessed the land in the name of the uninvited ones. And then you get to the Mace of Estar, which is the only one that you've seen in real life. It's an ornate, sort of otherworldly weapon. It was crafted from a smooth, obsidian-like metal. It seems to shimmer with like little prismatic hues in the light. Its head resembles a multifaceted gemstone with these angular faces that distort reflections into like bizarre and twisting forms. All along its handle, there are these delicate etchings of shifting runes that glow faintly when it's being used, though they never really remain the same for very long. When the mace is swung, it leaves behind like a faint illusory trails that like disappear as if like a whisper fading at night. The air around the mace is like weirdly, unnervingly quiet, almost like it absorbs sound itself. When it's held, the wielder can hear these faint, echoing murmurs, as if the mace itself is whispering secrets to them. It was said to have been forged in the heart of a mirage, with its essence bound to the eternal lies and truths hidden within the jungles of Dion. Legend tells of it being wielded by a forgotten priest of Estar, who unearthed the forbidden knowledge of a rival deity, setting into motion this sort of chain of events that reshaped a whole kingdom. While it's powerful, the mace is a tool of revelation as much as deception. For Estar's secrets often come with an unexpected price. So that's what you know, what these tomes know about what the tomes dub the armaments of the uninvited ones. The tome goes on about some other celestial known gifts. These are gifts that were given from not just the uninvited ones, but the regular gods during the Dionic Wars. More commonly to their most like devout paladins during times of really great strife and turmoil. All the gifts appear to have been given to individuals who would go on to sort of change history and achieve these great deeds. Some of the examples of gifts that these tomes know about and can verify. There's a gnome paladin of Shione. She's the goddess of like language and craft and innovation. She gifted the mind of the giant to the paladin, which allowed her to journey into the land of the giants and befriend them for the betterment of both giant and gnome races. There's an elven cleric of Oros who became the first wielder of the magic Visimancy, which allowed her to delve into the deep caverns in the northwestern lands, eventually gaining access to the Underdark for the first time on Dion. She led her people down, and they went on to establish the first permanent cities, both above and below ground, that would eventually become powerful enough to establish what is now the Drow lands of Ulenagani and Undlu Helnar, the ancestral lands of Eidos. Visimancy itself is known to be like an ancient and largely forgotten school of magic that draws power from darkness, the unknown, the boundaries between reality and the void. The spells represent sort of the manipulation of shadows, fear, the unknown, but none of them are listed here. The god Oisis has only gifted organic items that are known, such as like physical changes to body parts, which would allow a champion of Oisis to better protect a community in times of greatest need. An example that the book lists are the swift feet of Oisis, which his champion during the Dionic Wars used when he had to travel great distances as part of sort of a self-sacrifice that ended up saving a large chunk of the northwestern continent during a very bloody battle. another one, a wizard named Eric Vielos, who by all accounts worshipped the weave itself, was gifted what he called the Hand of Nenna. And with that Hand of Nenna, he was able to write an Arcanist tome containing the fundamental secrets of magic. And he claimed the unedited spells crafted by Nenna herself, the goddess of magic. Ancestries are still kind of being compiled and verified in this part of the tome, but as of the writing of this scroll you're looking at, Vielos' descendants are the oldest known lineage of sorcerers on the whole of Dion. Yeah. Eidos, roll for me. No, actually, Eidos would just know this. And you being the one reading this scroll, Vielos is Seraphina's mother's maiden name. She hyphenated her name, so you know Seraphina's mother as Vielos Blackthorn.
I'll go call over Seraphina and say, I think you should read this, and I'll explain that to her. So, is this your mother? Is this Lysandra?
Oh my goodness. Yes. Wow. Can't believe she's in here. I guess that means I'm in here too.
Well,
Yeah.
she definitely
Yeah.
is.
Is
I
this
think
like
that's
a
okay.
descendant, or are you a descendant of this, or is that? I thought your name was Blackthorn.
Of course. Yes, it's on my mother's side.
Oh,
We, sorcerers marry other sorcerers. That's how it goes.
well, I mean, definitely a very impressive family lineage.
Oh,
Dating-
thank
dating
you
all the
for
way
noticing.
all the way back to the first sorcerer. It's amazing.
I am amazing. Thank you for noticing.
I've seen you in action. You can do some pretty fantastic things.
Oh, I can't tell if you're being sarcastic.
Not this time. Not this time.
Oh, thanks, Killian. That's the first nice thing you've said to me.
Is it? It might be. It might be.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you've spent that whole time, you've scoured them all. You think this is probably the closest information that you'll get, to what you were looking for.
Well, it looks like
Well-
if we're looking into these artifacts, we know where some of them are, presumably, but this figurine of Dea might be over on the eastern continent.
Oh yeah, that figurine sounds great.
Does sound quite powerful. But seems like they were left with the UNT. Wonder if Zada has any kind of history with those type of people on the eastern continent. Have any of you heard what those are in UNT?
Don't have a clue.
Anybody could roll, like a history check or a religion check.
I'll do history. I have 17 for history.
Yeah, you probably would have come across this the best at school, probably, studying different like ancestries of people, and maybe you were in like a cultural studies class. And the UNT are a species and ancestry of sort of snake-like, like serpentine humanoids. And they range from like very serpentine. What you know about their culture is the more serpentine you look, sort of the lower class you are. The more humanoid you look, that's what they themselves call pureblood. Makes no sense, really. It's not actually really based in any kind of actual like blood lineage or anything like that. It's sort of just like the cultural class system. But yeah, and they you would also know that they are mainly like jungle dwellers, making them pretty at home on the eastern continent. And that they can be a little bit bloodthirsty in the wrong circumstances, but just like any other race of like humanoid, they can fit into society if given the opportunity as well.
Would Seraphina know anything, or have heard about the book, like about her like mother's lineage? Was she heard of this before, or is this her first time learning about this?
I think maybe now that you're like reading this, I think maybe some things would come into context for you, like some of the things your dad would have said about your mom in the past, like sweet nothings you would have heard him saying, like about like, you know, the mother of sorcerers. You thought that he just meant like literally the mother of sorcerers, but at this point you're like, oh, like her family is sort of the mother line of sorcerers, it would seem, or like, you know, some of the first.
Okay.
Not necessarily that, you know, this person ancestor because that's not how sorcery works. But one of the first like naturally gifted sorcerers. And it appears to have been like a gift from God in this case. So having some context, you haven't been told specifically that this is your family lineage. I think that your parents probably wouldn't have I don't think they're the type to like talk it up or brag about it super openly.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, but you do know your mom is like incredibly famous, popular. Like you thought it was because she's like a big political figure in like business.
Yeah.
But this starts to make sense. You're like, oh yeah, she didn't like a little bit of a what's it called when you have like a rich parent? I don't remember. When you have like a rich or famous parent, so then you become a famous movie star.
Nepotism?
Oh, nepotism?
Nepo baby. A little bit of a Nepo baby vibe. Just
okay. Seraphina's gonna pretend like she knew the whole time. Even though she was just learning this right now.
Sure, roll deception. roll with advantage, because you did just play it all very much like, of course.
Oh gosh. I have a 12. I just want to say I have +7 to deception.
I think probably, I don't know if anybody else is really like tuned into this conversation besides Eidos and Killian. So unless I'm wrong, just Eidos and Killian roll just like an insight.
Well, truthfully, Killian will just believe her because he wouldn't know any better.
Absolutely, naturally.
And Eidos rolled a 12.
Oh man.
She will just stare at Eidos.
Eidos, you have known for a while that something fishy is going on with Seraphina. Like you know enough about magic and sorcery that you've known something with the magic has happened. But in this moment, you're just like, sure, maybe she did know that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, she's gonna stare him down.
Like, Sarah's a bit of an enigma right now. In a way that you're not really used to at this point. Your travels with her have really opened your eye about some things about her. Okay. Yeah, for all intensive and purposes, you guys have collected the information here that you were looking for. Is there anything else you need to find here?
Before we go, Seraphina is going to be like, Index. I'm gonna call over to the Index.
Hello, Lady Seraphina.
She's not gonna snap at her or whatever. Index, how do you feel about Index Jail?
What is meant by Index Jail?
You know your cage.
I am simply a construct. I am not designed to feel about anything.
Well, what's it like when you're in Index Jail?
It is nothing.
Torment?
It is void. It is nothing. It is nothing. It starts to kind of freak out. It is nothing. It is the void. It is the void. It is the void. I am nothing.
Do you like the void, or do you like, hanging out with us and chatting?
I am not designed to like anything. My purpose is to chat. So, if I were to compare what my purpose is to what a human might like, then one must surmise I like chatting with you.
Yeah, because it's your purpose, right? And you want to fulfill your purpose?
I am designed to fulfill my purpose.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you want to come with us?
I do not want anything.
You
If you need information, I will accompany you.
Yeah, why don't you come with us? You can hang out with Glitterbell, and then I'm gonna have Glitterbell just like
Is it like a puppy? A tennis ball. You hear muffled, I am nothing, I am nothing. You can add a living index to your inventory. Living index orb. Just add it as a custom item, and I'll homebrew it up for you.
okay.
It's called the Nihilist Index.
It's about to have a real crisis of identity with you all. Okay, anything else
We
you guys
can
need?
name it.
What was that, Bobby? What are you talking about? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were saying something. That was
No.
weird.
Oh no, it was
Weird.
Robin. It was
No, I was
Robin.
like-
Robin.
I
Oh,
was
okay, sorry.
intently reading.
Okay, what was that? Anybody?
No.
I was
I'll
gonna say
go.
we should name the index.
Oh, God.
Can we do that later? Is that okay if we do that later?
All right, fine. Dexy, let's go.
Oh god, we should have did it now.
Now you've done that. Seeing as everyone is getting ready to wrap things up, I think Morrowind is going to kind of wrap the little Sylvan, specifically the scroll written in Sylvan, and put it in his bag. And then he's going to take out the book about summoning circles that he's already read, and put it in its place.
Sure.
And then he's going to be ready to go.
Okay. Were you trying to be sneaky about doing that, or just?
Oh,
just
no, that was an equally
No roll.
change.
No roll required. And I don't
So,
think
yeah.
anybody's going to question you on it.
But this is the book from the main library?
From the inner
No,
sanctum.
no,
the
no,
outer,
this
the outer
is the
sanctum,
book
yeah.
that I got. Do you remember way back when we infiltrated the
Was it
treasurer's
Lord
house?
Heron's? Lord Heron's
Yeah,
house.
Lord Heron's. Yeah, this is Lord Heron's book that I read forever ago.
Oh, okay. Cool. Then Ados will not pick it
So
up.
it's
and
still
get that.
information.
It's doing a little tradesies. That's all.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
A book swap.
Cool. Alrighty. So if no one else has anything else they need to do in here, it's about time for you all to de-infiltrate. To get on up out of here sneakily. Keep it in mind, the outside of this sanctum is loud out there. The bear guardian gives you all a nod once you're finished. Closes those two large doors behind you. You hear the big magical lock sort of click in place once he closes the door. And he kind of gives Killian basically the facial version of one of these, closest a bear can do.
And
And-
Killian will give him a very ceremonious bow as they leave.
He nods his head at you, and just as he arrived, he sort of dissipates into just a halo, and then the halo fades. And you guys make your way back out the door. Are you going to recast Pass Without a Trace?
Of course, his little silver staff, the moon is going to turn black, and the nice little sanctuary magic will come over and protect us all and keep our footsteps silent.
Okay. Everybody who's in there, go ahead and roll a dexterity check. Add 10 to it.
You mean stealth?
Stealth, yes, thank you.
Okay. Also, before we left, I'm going to resummon Huthamer. Or no, I don't know if I can. Can he be unsummoned if we can't teleport?
Can he be... can you send him
Because
away?
he only lasts an hour before the summoning is up.
Yeah, I think your summoning just would have ended.
Okay.
And I don't think you can resummon him, yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I still have Eden with me.
I think he kind of got shunted away. Okay, Killian, what'd you get?
31.
Seraphina?
I rolled a 1, so I guess I have a 12.
Gross. Ados?
Yeah,
I'm
that's
trying to wrangle the Dexy and Glitterbell.
I got a 28.
28? Bula?
Actually got a 25 this time.
Oh wow.
There
Nice,
you go.
nice. And Marway?
I got a 19, but Eden got a 34.
Oh, that helps.
She has like a +7, or a +5 to stealth. It's kind of ridiculous.
Okay, we will say that Eden spends the whole time helping Seraphina wrangle a glitter bell, while Seraphina just tries to placate the orb that is still kind of having an existential crisis, without actually comprehending what's happening. And you all, with a couple very high rolls, you all make your way back through the Athenaeum proper, as silently as humanly possible.
And head toward
And-
that south the
To be
exit
fair,
we
there's
came
only
into.
2 humans, so.
Sure. Yeah, okay. You go to that exit. You see that, the door wasn't latched behind you as you came in, and it doesn't appear to have been opened or anything. You get a message.
Killian will give the
Kittenberry?
signal to Marway.
Oh, yes, Kittenberry, 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 Kittenberry.
Like a metal detector, it works. You hear Kittenberry. Oh, hello, Marway. I am outside where you left me. Are you ready for me to come and distract my friend? It's a new guard now. It's been a couple hours. She's not as cute, but she's cute. I'll go flirt if I must.
Yes, it is time for us to do the escape.
Oh, fantastic. I will tell Zata. And she, flags down Zata. You see her kind of waving, and you see her get up and once again sort of straighten herself up. She walks over to the new guard at the door. This, gnome woman. And she, gets down on the gnome's level and starts asking questions as if, you can see, once again, you can see her body language. The rest of the group watched her do it the first time, but now you get to watch her work her magic. I will roll for her a deception. That was a nat 20! Yo!
Damn.
I love this girl.
Kimberly's unstoppable.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she immediately, just charms the pants off of this guard. She looks like a lost. She, plays up. She looks a little bit younger than she actually is. Plays up the whole, I'm very lost. She's, pointing down the street. And you see her kind of gesture for this gnome woman to kind of, point her down the correct road, just, a little ways down the block. So she, once again, gets her away from the door. Maraway with the message. She's, thinking at you kind of the whole time. Okay, now go, go, go.
Come on, let's go. I messaged to everyone, go, 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 go.
You all open the door, and with those nice high dex rolls, you are able to. Zata, you see them all emerge in sort of a cloud of haze that you assume to be your friends. They emerge, and you can catch them from the rooftop. And thanks to Kittenberry's really high roll, the guard is none the wiser as you all disappear behind some buildings down an alleyway.
Killian, make sure to close the doors of the Athenaeum as well.
Cool.
Good
Okay.
call. Good call.
Cool. After a few minutes, Kittenberry comes back, just cool and blasé. Just oh yes, easy peasy. How did it go?
It went great. Did you find Zata?
Yeah, he's here somewhere. Zata, what are you doing? As you saw them come out and go down this alley.
I'll keep a watch up top and just kind of follow them until I can get somewhere no one can see me actually get down, then join them.
You're pretty able to do so. She motions up, and she kind of glances at you, and she points down the alley, and the rest of the group kind of moves down with her to where you can really hop down. And it's a little bit later at night now, so the streets are relatively empty at this point, and it's dark. So you're able to hop down and rejoin your group.
Zata, where
guys
have you
a
been?
welcome drink?
Where did you go? We were worried about you, big kitty.
I told you I was gonna follow the head archivist, and I did.
I told you guys he was tootling.
I was
Huh.
trying to
Yeah,
take
you
her
were.
pee the entire time, but
Did you-
yeah, it didn't work.
Did you get it?
He toodled her.
You told.
I gonna do. I told her some stuff about Lionel and stuff, but yeah, whatever.
Do you think you're gonna go see her again?
No,
Oh, wasn't a good first date?
she's 80 years old.
I mean,
Eh?
I'm 75.
I mean,
For normal people, Marway, that's very old.
Normal people. Wow.
What do you mean by that, Zata?
Let's talk about it.
From the plane of existence of the mortal plane. or material plane.
Oh, you're never too old to toodle.
I'm gonna be tootling at that age.
I'm sure you will.
I have virtually no idea what you are talking about.
Why don't we tootle at a bar or something and talk about everything we just found? I think we have a lot to discuss. I still don't know what tootling is.
Oh, you know.
And Marway's gonna keep the pass without trace go to the bar, just in case.
Okay, sure. Do you guys head back to the Sandy Snowman, which is where you did the first, where you stole that girl's dinner? Do you head to,
No.
I can't remember the name of the other place you guys stayed at.
Yeah.
The
we have
karaoke
like a-
bar.
Do we have
Faithful, familiar or something.
Yeah, I have no idea what I said. But the
Right.
karaoke bar, where, you stay the night before, spend some time drinking. It's more of a night spot, hot spot. It's no longer like a weekend, as much as weekends exist here. So it's probably going to be a little bit quieter at that spot tonight than it was a couple nights ago when you first stayed there. Or you're welcome to find some
familiar
more new-
drum.
The familiar drum, thank you.
Sorry,
we
I
can find
interrupted you.
No, you're good. I was just saying, or you can find somewhere new. What do you guys want to do?
Well, do we have any lodgings there at all?
I believe you did still have your rooms there. You didn't say that you necessarily gave up your rooms. So I think you still have your rooms that you had initially rented.
Yeah, I'd say we head back there then. Kind of get Zada up to speed on what happened.
Okay.
Um,
No, that's it. You guys head that way. You give Zada his copy of the elements.
well,
Yes,
yeah,
you took-
with a lengthy disclaimer. I kind of like sit him down and it's like, I don't know much about your religion and your culture. To be honest, I haven't been listening or asking many questions, but from what I have heard, you might want a drink with this particular passage. It might come as some surprise. I don't want you to be shaken by what you read. Or maybe you'll be fine. I'm not sure. I don't think I would care, but you seem a lot more dedicated than I am.
All right.
And yeah, he'll hand over his notes, slide them across the table along with a beer.
Yeah. Guess I will take a reading of it and just kind of look at it. He's like, just people writing shit that they don't know about.
You don't believe it?
No, it's not Leland.
Okay, well, that's good. But it is Ere. Did you know all this stuff about,
People
Her?
say a lot of bad things about Ere.
like, historians? Like, building upon centuries of information and then putting it into well-established and respected archives? Do they do that?
It's all mostly done from your continent's perspective. From what I see from most people here, they don't like Ere, so I can see why people would actually now badmouth her.
You think it's fake news?
Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe just something to keep in mind. But I hope that you know, whatever you learn in the future, you do so with open mind, open hearts. Yeah, just don't throw away any new information you get that you don't like. You take into consideration.
I mean, I thank you, but like I said, you guys are gonna have to go through that door anyways. I told you.
Certainly. Yeah, you did call that. We probably should have listened to you. Although, if we had tried to break in with a key, we might have been attacked by the biggest bear you've ever seen in your life. Yeah, well, you would have loved it, but you weren't there, so we didn't have to fight it, and I love that in particular. So, well, great.
Yeah, Killian did a good job getting us through.
Well, you had to appeal to the celestial nature of that giant bear.
Look at him being humble, all in the day of a protectorate. You did great. We would be dead if you weren't there, I'm sure.
Well, I'm sure we would have held our own, but Zada, we learned about the other unwelcome one's relic, and it turns out to be a figurine of Dea. And from what we learned is that at least its last known whereabouts were on the eastern continent, in the hands of some Yuan Ti, which Seraphina tells me are like serpent people. I don't know.
Fuck those guys.
You've come across them then?
Yeah.
Doesn't that sound as friendly?
No. Well,
Yeah.
most people on the continent aren't really friendly. Like, you'll survive, but when like things get rough, like you're going to be killing each other for resources. So, it's whatever.
Okay, and do like the UNT have like a, I don't know, like a large community or something like that over on the eastern continent?
How much would I know about Yanti?
Go ahead and roll history.
Oh boy, not gonna be great.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much Zada would know, being so like just within his own community.
That is an 11.
Yeah.
12.
So, you know that like you've had like skirmishes with them in the past, but as far as like what their communities are like or how many of them there are outside of like, you're from Hargush and Ilar, and they're, which is like a grasslands, they're really from sort of the wetlands, the rainforests. So not a lot of overlap regardless. Like not a lot of skirmishes would have happened between you and them. So yeah, you know that yeah, like you said, they'll skirmish for land, for resources when necessary, but as far as knowing much about their culture or anything like that, I don't know that Zada would know very much.
Yeah, I can tell you how to kill them. I don't really know anything about how they exist. I can tell you some of their military strategies and stuff like that, but in terms of their community, I don't know anything about it.
Well, depending on, I would guess maybe what needs to be done to get this figurine of Dea, if they even do have it, knowing a little bit about their, I guess, tactics, their military, things of that nature would come in handy.
We can always, I could always ask around in my tribe. There are people that, scouts and stuff like that, that know the area. It's just the wetlands, kind of their spot. They don't like when people get onto their territory, and especially if we need like water or something like that, they'll try to go in. But they're very, territorial for good reason. So don't know too much about them. I'm sure that there's some information that I could get from my tribe in terms of some more information. Maybe the chief may know, or some elders. But like I said, I was mostly a warrior and a hunter.
Are you in contact with people from your tribe right now? Are you writing letters?
They're really, really far away, and they're constantly moving. There's not many times that I could, like, a letter would probably never reach them. If a letter was to get out there, I would assume that they would probably die trying to find where they are at. So no, haven't been in contact since I left my family.
Oh, okay. So we would have to find them to speak with them.
Yeah, I could find them easily.
Oh. Okay.
I know the routes of where they go. Unless you knew the routes, you wouldn't know where to go.
I see. Okay.
So do your people just travel in like a giant circle or something? Is that?
Depends. That you can kind of think of it like that, but we usually go where the game is most plentiful or where resources are needed. Water is a very scarce thing there, so water is, and those routes and those watering spots are heavily protected by whichever tribe is there. That's where most of fighting comes from, is water. So like, I know where we would go. I can tell you just by the weather and how the animals are. I can tell you exactly where my tribe will be. I've lived there and grew up there.
Would it be okay if you went back to your tribe with us?
Yeah, as long as I speak for you, you should be fine. Just try not to insult them. They're not big on that.
So if we like, burn down like a village or something, like a library they might have, it wouldn't go over well?
We don't have a library.
If we burned over some kind of stable or something like that, it wouldn't go over well?
I mean,
We-
you wouldn't be extremely happy about it.
If we
Needed it-
tackled an elder, maybe.
I mean, most of
If
our
we toodled
elders
an elder?
could probably still kill all of you.
Hmm.
They are not like your elders that I've seen, which don't do it. They are death machines if they've lived that long.
So you're telling me that if the roles were reversed, they would not have tolerated a lot of the actions that you've done to our people?
I mean, yeah, but again, it's within my tribe that happens. But at the same point in time, you have to do what you have to do and expect the consequences for those actions. I completely expect consequences for actions, but if it comes down to we need to get away or a library burning, I'm going to choose a library burning.
Okay. Well,
Why don't
be sure
you
to keep my
go
tootling
upstairs?
hands to myself.
He's just gonna disengage and go upstairs.
What does
So-
Marway do upstairs?
Upstairs, he's gonna just sit on the floor, and he's going to concentrate really, really, really hard to call all of his friends to his side. And he's just gonna pull the little scroll out and kind of read it to them, kind of explaining, like, hey, the people still know about this a little bit. They kind of know about our people.
Beautiful.
As he just kind of reads it almost over and over to them.
Cozy. Love. Killian, what were you about to say downstairs?
With the remainder of the party that's here, Killian will just kind of look to everybody and say, so, what are our next steps? Now that we have a little bit more information about what these armaments are, and a little bit of history about them, do we go head to the eastern continent? Do we, we're kind of at a little bit of a fork in the road, it seems, as to what we should do next. We know where some of these relics are, potentially. We know the Urog chieftain has it. We know, I believe we kind of assume that the Drow priestess or princess or queen has
Queen.
the queen
Crown.
has the crown. The only one that's really unaccounted for is the figurine of Dea. So I just either way is a very long trip, and we don't really have maybe we don't know the means to get to where we need to go. So I'm just kind of
Understand, getting to my continent is incredibly dangerous. It will be a very hard trip by sea, which I am not looking forward to again. And when you get there, everything will want to kill you.
Well, it looks like our options are a boat ride, going back on our promise to Archangel by taking his relic, or fighting two people with massive armies and countries who have the other two relics. So maybe it would be a good idea to at least know where all four of them are. And that could be our next step.
With my little bit of remembering my information about Yuan-Ti, would I remember if like people at the Luminara would have more information for us?
Yeah,
Maybe
they would
my
have.
dad who works there.
Yeah, they have kind of like a cultural studies department, sort of, who really study. Like, this is very much a magic college for mages. But they would also be studying. They would have people specifically studying like unusual kinds of magic or different cultures and how they use magic. So yeah, you would know that that's kind of the professor who you heard this from, and therefore your dad would know quite a bit more about, if not directly more information. They would know how to like help you find more information, or even how to help you like travel to find information. So yeah, I think your family would be a strong resource in this area, or like the Luminara in general could be. as much as Serafina doesn't like to admit that to herself in this moment.
She will groan loudly. Do you remember that cultural studies professor, Mr. What was his name?
Oh, he's such a bore. I can never remember his name, but I do unfortunately remember him well. Why do you ask?
Do you think he might know about D20?
He seemed to think he knew about everything else, so I imagine that's in his realm. He might. But, I mean, Zada's tribe probably has first-hand information about them. What do you think that he could give us that Zada's tribe couldn't?
Well, he's also just right next door. And
That's true.
Zada's is not right next door.
No,
It
no.
will take quite a long time to get back. And my people may not have a lot of information. It would be mostly about, like, what we can use for, like, espionage, like, where their main places are, where to not go, how to infiltrate, stuff like that. Not really so much their, like, day-to-day lifestyles, but more about, like, where their major territories are, where their strongholds are, how to infiltrate, stuff like that.
Okay, it was more of a tactical approach than
Yeah,
in that.
we don't get along very well with a lot of people. We mostly keep knowledge about how to fight or their general knowledges of like where we can and can't go without running into like getting into fights. Not so much knowledge about like, their art or music or, cultural stuff, lore that they may have. We don't really care about that kind of stuff.
Certainly. Yeah. Well, in that case, maybe a little more studying is in order. He might be our best source of information about them.
I wish we could remember his name, because it's kind of rude to just spend so long.
I'm sure he's in the directory. I'm sure. I probably still hold quite a bit of sway at the old college. I could just probably ask anybody. They remember who I am, I'm sure. So,
Yeah,
you doubt it. Well, we'll have to see. But if that's the route that we did want to take, finding out more about this fourth relic, this figurine, then maybe that's where we could start. Although I do recall that the next step right now is to get in touch with Archangel. Isn't that what he wanted? As soon as we figured out the information about these?
Yeah, we can send a messaging stone message saying we have the information on the relics.
Well, I mean, we have a general idea, possibly, if it's still over
he
there.
wanted to know what the
We
information...
have approximate knowledge.
Yeah, we have approximate knowledge.
That
He
is a
wanted to know
good.
what we figured out at the library, so he
Yeah.
just
Yeah, you did say that.
He did want to know that information. Yeah, wherever you guys want to go. I mean, there is a good one, but that's going to be well, they all seem like they're going to be giant pains. Maybe not the drow one, since Eidos, you kind of got in on that one.
You kidding me? No,
I mean, do you?
absolutely not. I mean, in a way, but it's like walking into your master's quarters to ask for a fresh robe. It's not going to work out like that. Maybe my father could, but I don't hold any real position in my country, let alone the empire. It's simply not possible. It would be the last relic we get.
Sure, that's what you feel like.
Well,
you know best that
well,
area.
maybe even Archangel. We have been separated from Archangel for quite some time now. Perhaps he will have some more information for us of, a little bit of a back and forth trade here.
Well, the sending stone, we can only send like a short message, so and it only works once a day, so we kind of have to limit what we know to a paragraph of information.
Sure. So we met
Or less.
approximately. So we message him tonight. See what he has to say. If there's more to say, tomorrow's just around the corner. And then we make our way to the old college and find out more about these snake folk. And I guess try to figure out a way to get to the Eastern Continent if that's the way we want to go.
Yeah.
Do you think we can visit school without seeing my parents?
Well, that's definitely up to you.
Yeah.
I don't think that we can without them hearing about it, but maybe we can get away with it. You know, I've snuck a lot of things past my parents, but there weren't quite as many teachers and students to tell of me.
I can try to get a hold of the trading company that I took a ride with on a boat, see if I can get a ride back with them. They're one of these few people that come and trade with our people. But
Certainly.
it'll suck.
I imagine it'll suck quite a bit, regardless of what we do. Do you feel safe going back to the old stomping grounds, Serafina?
No.
Do you feel willing to?
Maybe I can borrow Kittenberry's hat.
Maybe a nice disguise, a nice change of clothes.
Yeah, you have plenty of sway. You can talk to the professor. What's his name?
Oh, now I have plenty of sway.
You
Okay,
have plenty of sway.
it's funny how that works
You
out.
got it. You got it. You got them.
Seraphine, I don't understand. You seem like you were such a popular figure, yet you don't want to just go back and, just revel in your popularity? I don't understand.
Yes, everybody wants to hang out with me, but my parents are tedious, so we don't need to hang out with them. We can just go talk to our guy and be on our way.
I just want to state that this might be, with what we're doing, this might be the only chance that you may ever see your parents again. There is a good possibility that we will die.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Is that true?
We're going up against an ancient king that we released that has been known to conquer lands.
Seraphina, we were literally in the hells 2 days ago.
It's been a dangerous ride so far. I can't imagine it's going to get safer.
And we nearly died to those demons by also the chance. I'm just stating that if I would want to see my parents again, I would very much at least like to talk to them. But I love my parents. But everybody's is different. But I'm just going to just say it just so that you know that there is a real possibility that you may never see them again. Or if things go south, they may die due to the war that is coming.
Okay, yeah. Seraphina had not thought of that before.
And maybe you want to tell your parents that there is a giant king that has been released, an ancient evil that may want to take over the entire world again, kind of a thing. Maybe they might want to know.
And if your family lineage of sorcery is as powerful as those books that we read claim, then it wouldn't be a bad thing to prepare Dion for by letting them know.
It's all up to you, but I'm just letting you know that this is a state. At least maybe try to let them know with a note or something, or maybe Eidos can tell them.
Yeah,
Hey.
we'll Eidos, just bring a post-it.
I don't think post-it note of calamity incoming is enough.
Serafina, what would I tell them if I showed up without you? A post-it's not going to cover it. I'm going to have something a little better. Sorry she couldn't make it, but she left you this fantasy post-it.
They're actually just called sticky notes here. They were made by artificers Romy and Michelle. There is no post-it brand in this world. Sorry.
I
Fantasy.
invented the
I should mention
glue for the post-it.
Yes, they invented the glue. From the pack of Post-its.
It's not that I don't love them. I do.
That's a long pause you just took.
Then maybe if you still love them, then maybe you should really give it a chance just to see them, because again, this might be the real last time that you may be able to ever see them again.
You're making it sound so serious. I'll think
We are
about
doing
it.
something incredibly serious.
Very serious indeed.
I think
Battling the
Seraphina-
gods, Seraphina. It's not that serious,
Seraphina
guys.
is avoiding asking herself the question that she asked the living index. What happens when you get put back on the shelf? And she finds that the answer is, I am nothing, I am nothing, I am void. She is for the first time having this crisis.
Yeah, I don't think Seraphina has, she's just been like kind of floating along on this adventure so far and hasn't really taken stock of the severity of the situations we've been in.
I mean, we'll all be there for you to support you. And, I mean, Eidos knows your family. So, I mean, if you want to leave at any point in time, we will get you out if you feel uncomfortable. But just really think about it, that this may be the only or the last time you may ever see your parents again. And if you should die, I would at least like to let my parents know what's going on when I go see them. Eventually, looks like we will. I will let them know everything that's happening.
Well, Eidos, I'm sure they would love to see you again.
Oh, I'm sure they would. And I would love to see them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kittenberry leans in and says, recently a good friend asked me what I am doing here and why I continue. I think you have all noticed that perhaps maybe I am not so good in a fight on occasion. I think, however, I have become quite excited about the idea of the Luminara, is what you call it, this school for the mages, the magic. I wonder if perhaps maybe we could go that way, if only so that I might look about, consider my options, perhaps.
There you go,
Are you-
Sophie. You can give her a sponsorship.
A
You could write
perfect
me a
place.
letter of recommendation.
And what better place to find out what you want to be when you grow up than Luminara? It's perfect.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
At the very least, a tour of the
Ah.
campus.
Something. Maybe orientation day is just around the corner.
I guess we can be or Eidos would be such a good guide. He knows all
I
the
mean,
great spots on campus, so
if you're
It's
like
true.
one of the lineage that comes from the very first sorcerer, I don't know, but that probably might have a little more sway than. I mean, Eidos is a great man. Look at him; he's fantastic.
Sure.
But
It's
I'm
true.
just saying that, like, your parents seem to be really highly ingrained into this area. Maybe that just a little bit better.
okay. We can well let's make our way to campus. We'll find Professor
Damn,
Yeah.
yeah.
Roll a history.
Both
Both
us?
of you.
Ready for your history teacher.
It's
Professor Rose a winner.
Professor
It's the-
Professorson.
I rolled a 1 for a
Wow,
4.
you really don't know.
That is fantastic.
That's awesome. I got a 13.
Okay.
Did I tool him?
Oh God.
Oh, you shouldn't
Is that how
tutor
you
your
pass?
professors.
Is that how you pass school?
You know,
From my sorcery skill.
it suddenly occurs to you why this class was so boring was because it was taught by a treant, like a living tree.
Oh.
Notoriously slow speakers, and slow to do everything. And thinking about the fact that he was a tree, you're like, oh, it was something yarrow, something oak, mellow oak. Professor Mellow Oak.
Mellow Oak. That's what it was. God, and how mellow he was. It was so boring.
Oh
Sometimes
yeah.
Sometimes I would pay people to just go for me and take notes. I just can't do it.
Yeah, I think I remember him.
Yeah, he's the-
Seraphina doesn't remember.
Oh, it is
You're just
wondering if you even took that class or if you just heard about Eidos talking about it. Like many college students, it's all a blur for you.
Yeah.
Okay, Kit and Mary sits back kind of satisfied. Well, I think that my vote is we go north to the Luminara. We meet Seraphina's beautiful parents, and
TBD.
TBD, sure. And we find perhaps a bit more information that we need.
Sounds like as good a plan. Point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. At least we have some kind of direction at the very least. But should we reach out to Archangel now?
Maybe let's do it tomorrow. It's been a long day.
Tonight, what we need is a big plate of food,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully some sort of meat or 3, and some drinks.
Some wine to pair with it. I like it.
Yes, I
Wine,
definitely
tea.
need a drink.
All right. Kit and Mary takes the initiative, stands up, says, "I will open my coin purse," and she goes hopping over to the bar. In here tonight, in this bar, where it's usually like a rowdy karaoke on the weekends, there's right now, it's just kind of like an open mic. Like, there's like a teenage bard playing folk music on stage, like very quiet, just acoustic set. Very, very Sunday morning radio. Kit and Mary goes and grabs you all a round of drinks. Soon after, the server comes over with a whole bunch of food. 3 meats for Bula.
Me.
And you all take some time to kind of unwind and digest all the information you found over the last few days.
Killian will grab his drink and just kind of head up to the bar and just switch it out for water.
Okay.
Eidos is going to get Seraphina's attention and kind of point to an empty part of the bar. So, can I talk to you for a moment?
We're not gonna tootle, are we?
Would you like to? Come here.
Seraphina's gonna take like a big swig of her drink because she's trying to mentally prepare to go home and then roll over to the corner.
And Eidos will sit down at just an empty 2-top and say, "Look, Seraphina, I've been respecting your privacy. It's obvious that you're taking some sort of umbrage with visiting your parents, and I don't know why that is. As far as I know, yes, it was awkward, as you know, hanging out with your parents often can be, but it was never to this level. So I don't know what's going on, and if you don't want to tell me, you don't have to. However, if we're visiting your parents, I don't know what to not tell them if you're hiding something. So, I mean, if there is something that you're trying to keep from them, whether it's the fact that you're on the continent at all or that you did something before you left them, I don't want to give you up. I want to respect your privacy, even if it means lying to your parents about it. So, I don't know what's going on. You did well in school. Your magic is going great. You're doing things I've never seen before. It seems like, for all intents and purposes, things are going well. So, like I said, you don't have to tell me anything. But if there's something that I need to not tell them, then yeah, just looking out for you.
She'll take another drink. Okay. I'll clue you in just because I think it's gonna be really hard to hide from my parents, and I really don't know how I'm gonna manage this when we go see them. But so you learned about my mom today, and
How amazing is that?
I know, so great.
And you must feel great about it, coming from a long line of sorcerers.
Yes, so great. So great. there's just a lot of pressure to be so great and live up to their legacy and their expectations. And it's, you know how I was in school. I didn't really do that great. I studied a lot, so
Certainly.
hard, but I can never really make it work.
I think you could have studied half as much and gotten by with your parents' name alone, though, I don't think that you would try to. So,
Yeah. Well, I think it's no secret that, I was a late bloomer when it comes to my powers. And well, I guess, I found a way to make it happen, but it wasn't from my sorcery power. Exactly.
what do you mean?
I don't know if I fully understand it yet, but
Did you take some extracurricular special class or something?
yeah, I took some continuing education class.
Some adult education? Well, I mean, I'm sure even if it was an unconventional route that your parents didn't take, as long as you arrive at the same spot, who cares how you did it? It's a new generation.
I don't know if they'd be so understanding, they really, I think they're very partial to sorcery, and I think they're very interested in preserving their legacy and their sorcery powers. And I don't think they would be open to me learning other types of arcana. I don't think that was really an option.
What you're doing isn't sorcery?
Not exactly.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's just... So have you been lying to them?
I just really haven't said anything about it.
Oh, it's a lie of omission then.
Well, that's not what I said. I just haven't really said anything.
Well, yeah, it's what you didn't say. That's what a lie of omission is. Okay.
Semantics.
I mean, established rules and how we treat each other. Wow. Okay. Well, maybe they can lead you in the right direction. I don't know. I don't know.
No, I don't.
It just.
Are you gonna rat me out? Is that
No,
you
I'm
told
not.
me this was the code of truth?
Seraphina, I would not
You
rat
gonna
you out.
rat me out?
This is exactly what I was talking about. Something was obviously up. I needed to know what it was. And no, of course I'm not going to rat you out. I love Lysandra and Lord Blackthorn. But you always come first. I wouldn't rat you out.
Yeah, I don't. They love you because you're a sorcerer. You're just so good.
Not just a sorcerer, but an impeccable dresser as well. Don't forget that.
That's what you think. Is that what they tell you?
They don't have to. It's in the eyes. You always have to look at the eyes.
Roll an attack with cutting words.
Contested. Well, I just wish you had told me earlier. We've been traveling together for quite some time now. I understand that a lot has been going on. But you can always tell me these things. Doesn't
Sure.
matter. Doesn't matter to me.
Because I don't know. You've always been so good at it, and it comes so naturally to you. Yeah, I thought you would judge me, and I wasn't sure if. Yeah, I just wasn't sure how you would take it, and I haven't felt comfortable even admitting it to myself yet. So it's been hard.
Understand that more than anything. And no, I'm not judging you. I am very good at it. That is true. And even if you were a sorcerer, you would never be as good as me. You know that. But however you get your power, and you are powerful, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to me. Most of all, sure, it might matter to your parents, but they don't have to know. And even if they did know, what are they going to do? Send you away on some wild adventure with your friends? It'll be fine. We're all in this together, and even if your parents don't understand, we're your family now. Me and these weirdos that we're traveling with.
They are weird, aren't they?
They're very strange, but charming, but strange. Nothing like Luminara. So, yeah, all I ask is, don't be afraid to include me on whatever bothers you in the future. And if it bothers you so much that you don't want to tell anybody, just know that I'm here whenever you do want to talk.
Yeah, I think I just don't want people to know that, I'm a Blackthorn. And I'm not a sorcerer. I just don't think I'm ready for that.
Certainly. But you'll always be a Blackthorn, even if you're not a sorcerer.
Well, I guess we'll see what my parents say about that. I don't think my parents would think the same thing.
No, probably not. No, they're very, very
Yeah.
self-important on their lineage. We've always known that, but what they won't know won't hurt them.
Yeah. Okay, well, alright.
Yeah. And Ados will stand up and walk over to the other side of the table and I think hug you for probably the first time ever.
Alright. Serafina will roll her eyes, but she will also embrace him. And yeah.
I like to think that once he can't see your face, you stop rolling your eyes.
Yeah.
Only when he can't see you.
Start ugly crying.
You just kind of feel her shoulders shaking. Are you cold?
Probably at a certain point, Aos runs out of energy and does the old dad hug, pat on the back. Well,
All right, champ.
let's go get a drink about it, shall we?
All right. That's enough. Thanks, champ. Let's go.
Anytime.
Kittenberry hands Bula Marway's cup of de-alcoholization. I don't remember what we called it. And says, I don't know when you're going to go upstairs, but I ordered this drink for Marway. It's got the pineapple, the mango fruit. It's quite tasty. I think you'll like it. And it's in his special cup, so he can drink it before bed. Hopefully the sugar doesn't keep him up all night.
So Bula takes it, and she's only got a little bit of meat left on her plate, and she's pushed all the vegetables off to the side, and so she says, I was about ready to go up there anyways. It's been an interesting day. I wasn't really a fan of libraries before, but I think I'm still not a fan of libraries. And she just kind of collects the plate of vegetables and the drink from our way, and then with her big old sausage pinky kind of hooks another mug of mead for herself as, nightcap. Just kind of starts to wander up the stairs.
Okay. Marway, what you doing when she gets up there? You still reading your book?
Yeah, I would say as soon as she opens the door, just the immense amount of concentration that he's had to hold to keep everyone here breaks. And you see he looks up to her with a startle as all of his friends kind of evaporate back to Sanctuary. Except for Sir Lavender, who is sitting on his lap. And he's just going to, Bula, come here. I want to read this to you like a bedtime story.
Of course. I did bring you some food and Kittenberry sent you a drink, but it's in your cup, so you can drink it. Um, and then she just kind of will lay across the bed and sip on her mead and say, okay, I'm ready.
He's just gonna like sit down next to her with this little scroll, super happy that he has it, and it says that once upon a time there was a beautiful archfey. Her name was Calendula. She created an entire world for people who needed safety and healing. They had homes and they lived in peace and harmony. She had a council of 5 extraordinary people, and together they protected everyone they could. But after a long time, she began to want a child, and, well, her council urged her to continue doing that, and to bring joy to not only herself, but everyone around her, through a sign of not just stagnation, not of safety, but of growth, that Sanctuary could be more than just somewhere to hide, that it could be somewhere to truly live. She spent many years searching for a way to have a baby of her own, and finally she, with a mixture of magic and love, created a little boy, a little prince to one day take over and, to keep her company. And with that, he's just gonna kind of lean against her.
Well, that tail is prettier than a blue jay in a mating dance there. And she kind of clocks the way that he talks about this character is the way that on the rare occasions he talks about his mother. It's kind of, she feels that same longing. And she says, and that prince, he sounds pretty great.
I would like to think he is. After it fell, I just wonder if he'll ever get to see his mom again.
Well, if we're reading this as a bedtime stories are supposed to be pleasant so that you have good dreams. So we're going to say yes. We're going to say that the story, at least for tonight, is going to have a happy ending.
I hope so. But sometimes it doesn't feel like dreams can come true anymore. Sometimes it feels like all of our hopes, they just rot on the vine before they can blossom.
Well, if you don't have the rotten fruit, then the good ones wouldn't taste as sweet, now would they?
Probably not. But I'm scared. I'm frightened. All of my nightmares, they're getting worse. I can see the wolf every night hunting my people. And I can feel him, the hopelessness that he spreads. I don't think my people have much longer.
I know. But as long as you're still going, and as long as you're still looking for a way, then there will be hope. When you give up, that's when hope is lost.
I don't know anymore.
She's just gonna like wrap him in like a big bear hug, and she's gonna tuck Sir Lavender in his arms, and she's gonna ask him, well, how many gems have you collected? And she doesn't, I don't know that she knows what it's for, but she knows that he spends a lot of time looking at them, enjoying them.
Just a little open gold worth.
Yeah? Well, that's more than you had last time I asked.
I'm afraid they're gonna find me. And if they do, they'll be able to take Sanctuary for good.
If they find you, they have to go through us. So maybe we tell them, come on. We're ready.
Bula, I don't know what it feels like to have a sister, but I imagine it feels a lot like this.
I imagine you're probably right. Unless you're talking about some of the sisters that I had, and they're the ones that want to throw things at your head and try to pick your own nose for you. Those are not so pleasant. But this is what it's like to have a real sibling bond.
I know you don't talk about your family a whole lot in detail, but sometimes I feel like they don't treat you the way that you deserve. I wish that one day, maybe you could meet my mother too, and you can see what the family's supposed to be like.
I think I would like that. I think that your mother would be a very accepting person. Not
She
so
accepted everyone.
not so set in their ways as most of my family is.
I'm sorry they don't treat you the way you deserve. I know that sometimes you're tired of being so strong.
Well, if things hadn't gone the way they were, then I wouldn't have left, and well, then I wouldn't have met you. You helped me be strong.
I've been trying something different recently.
Oh yeah?
I've been trying really hard to find out how to get my friends out, but I started thinking, what would I do afterwards? And I've been trying really hard to maybe create my own sanctuary. Maybe one day, when we do, you'll have somewhere that you can be happy in yourself, and you don't have to worry about all of these mean people.
I think that would be just as perfect as a beach.
I'm glad you think so. We should probably get some sleep.
Yep, probably so. She's gonna wrap another fuzzy blanket. Like, he's already got like 2 or 3 fuzzy blankets. She's gonna wrap another one around him.
I think he's just gonna kind of roll off the bed and then under it.
All bundled up. Little burrito. You see a hand reach up and grab Sir Lavender. Pull it back under.
Yep.
And then
And
again for the
she-
skull.
Yeah. And she just, as usual, as she kind of sprawls out across the bed, she leaves one arm hanging off the bed, so it's down there where she can be near him.
All right.
You would
and as-
definitely feel him hold it.
And as you blow the candle out upstairs, Dane, what are you doing downstairs?
So Killian will be watching Zada, Serafina, Eidos, and Kittenberry. Just kind of hanging out, having a good time, and he's gonna head outside. He's gonna kind of he's gonna walk for a little while, try to find just kind of a quiet place for himself. Once he does, and it's pretty late, so no one's really out there, kind of stares up into the sky, and for the first time in a while, and almost like another burden to bear of the promises that he made to the celestial bear there. He basically goes into a little bit of a fast, rapid breathing, and he experiences like a panic attack for all intents and purposes. And just thinking about everything that's happened over the last couple of weeks, all of the responsibilities that he's shouldering, and he defaults back to what's always calms him down, which is he'll unfurl like the chains that are on his arm, and he starts going through his motions just out in whatever kind of like area he is in, and just kind of for seemingly like almost the rest of the night, he's just kind of going through the maneuvers with the chains and thinking about everything that's happened, and it's almost like he's like whipping away like some of the responsibility, even just for a moment, just to kind of breathe and be himself. And that's where Killian will spend the majority of the night, just on his own, doing that.
Nados and Seraphina are off on the side talking. Zato, what are you doing when you're left alone at the table? Kittenberry eventually makes her way upstairs to go to bed.
Zara will kind of see Eidos and Seraphina having their conversation. He probably watches Killian leave and probably goes to follow him, because he actually wanted to talk to Killian for a little bit, but he's gonna let him like do his thing, let him go throughout his thing, just kind of like watching him until he's like gotten whatever he's gotten out of his system, and then kind of throw probably a small rock at his foot, trying to get his attention after he's, successfully done whatever he needs to do, and go, hey there, buddy.
Hey, so I didn't know if anyone was here. What's up?
If I don't want to be seen, I usually don't get seen. Just, if somebody was talking hypothetically terribly about your god, how would that make you feel?
Well, not good, I'll be honest. Things like our fates are really drummed into us at a young age, and I've seen nothing but the benefits of my deity. Why do you bring this up?
Oh, just from the research that Eidos said, saying that people saying that area is not a great god, and killing the elementals and stuff like that. And as you can tell, I worship Ere, and I both have elemental powers themselves. It's infuriating. I wish to raise that building down for keeping such information that seems to be false to my god. But I won't. But I do want to.
Well, I suppose it is a matter of perspective, where clearly someone's had different kind of interactions than you and your people have with the god Ere.
Yeah.
And I'm sure even my deity, Oasis, is revered more so on the continent of my home country, Cordia, than here on the middle continent. And I'm sure the same can be said for Ere on the eastern continent.
Seems to be wherever you go, your god seems to be well liked. Mine doesn't seem to be very much liked anywhere except for where I'm from. It is upsetting for more purposes than not, and it is frustrating, and I don't want to hurt people. Each person is entitled to their own opinion, but when people keep bad-mouthing the person that you dedicate to, who gives you strength, it is hard not to want to smite them with righteous fury. It is difficult, and knowing that I don't know. I guess I'm trying to ask, how can I be able to keep this up? I don't know how much longer I can keep going, knowing that everybody is going to talk so ill of my god. I don't know how much I can keep going without finally breaking. It's hard, and I want to know how you would deal with it.
Well, I suppose if I were on a crusade of some type to convince people of my god's benevolence, or I would say maybe their tenets, I would do. I suppose I would, talk it through and explain it with people. I'm sure it's quite different from what your people typically do, Zada. Just from my interactions with you, you're more of a act first, think later kind of personality, and I don't mean that with any ill intent. But people across Dion think differently. And I think it's a matter of having the conversations with people and explaining your point of view. Because I understand when you explained it to me, battle and the circle of the life cycle of everything on here, on Dion, is, subject to Ares' will. Things need to fight to survive. I understand that. And it just seems as though that people of Dion understand Ares' tenets a little bit differently. So I think if you're looking to, let's say, sing Ares' praises, I think you might need to think about it a little bit more diplomatically, rather than smiting them with righteous fury, as you so plainly put it. Because that's what people believe Ares is. Nothing but fury and war and vengeance. And people of Dion, as you've seen, they're human. They're a mix of races. They do not possess the same kind of natural strengths that your race of people do. So of course, with your blessings that you have from your lineage, the common people would be terrified of war. Would be terrified of coming up against a stronger enemy, like you and your people. And like I said, how you explained it to me makes total sense. I understand, but you need to be able to convey that to the people and show them that while they consider Ares an unwelcomed god, I think there's still room for being able to explain it a little bit better, and through conversation, and maybe through actions outside of killing people or beating them up very, very badly.
I mean, I'm willing to try to explain myself more, but Ares is a goddess of vengeance, and people in their darkest moments, or even in their greatest moments, vengeance is sought. I'm sure that if anybody should harm your family like you've told me, you seek vengeance yourself.
And Zada, I am. I'm looking for the ones that wronged me, that wronged my family, that hurt my friends. I am looking for retribution against them.
As Area wills, vengeance is there, and vengeance should be taken for those that wrong you, and that is all I do. Anybody that hurts my friends or anything, I will exact swift vengeance upon them. That is all my tenet is. It's hard, I guess, for people to understand that, I suppose, but you understand it a little bit more than everybody else. And I wish Morroway could see that too. He could take vengeance upon the people that wronged him. He doesn't have to do it himself. He can ask for help. That is what I am, a tool of vengeance.
Marway's situation is quite unique, and I wouldn't want to take any actions that he himself would not condone or would not agree to. He's clearly has some deep trauma in whatever happened to his home. Enough so that he fled and is currently just trying to save as many as he can from what happened. I don't think it's our place to interject in what he's trying to do unless he asks for that help.
Oh,
He do-
I'm not saying that it is not, and I'm just stating his story may be unique, but is a story that's been told before. People have taken out other people's villages, towns, killed them all, except for one person may live, and they have gone on a strange down the path of vengeance, down the path of Ere herself, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's those who he wishes to turn away, and he should know that he has the strength to fight for what he wants, and he has only asked for me, and I will take out the person that hurt him, even though he may not want to do it himself. But that's because that is what we're here for, right? For people for Ere, if you do not have the power to take vengeance, ask Ere for help, and she shall send a vessel to get that vengeance for you. And that is what I am.
Yes, but Marway has not asked for that help.
We'll see.
When the moment comes, surely he will look to us to help him out when he is ready. And not before then.
Yeah. And of course, you can always ask me the same. For you.
Of course. You, everyone here, all of our friends, we've come together as a little community, and Oasis blesses us all for finding each other in this world.
And remember, if you have something that you don't want to do, or something that's just too hard for you, or too dark, I'll be there for you. I can do it. It won't stain my soul.
Well, I'll keep that in mind if I need anything taken care of. But, let me say we head back.
Of course. Time for sleep and lots of drinks.
Maybe I'll just get some sleep.
You could do that. I'll drink for you.
Okay. And by all accounts, everybody wraps up your night. Some drinking, some not. But all find a restful sleep. And you can all put in a long rest as we come to tonight's ending.
Ooh.
Woohoo!
What a sesh. Okay. Yeah, like we said, we're going to be off next week, but you'll have a free little one-shot to watch, DM'd by Royal. It's going to be a silly one. You get to see me as a player. I am the least exciting. All these people have hilarious side quest characters. It's going to be chef's kiss fun, so make sure you tune in. And then we'll be back at our regularly scheduled programming on February 10th. So come see us. Some of us will probably be in the chat next Monday while we run the one-shot, so hang out with us. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.